Time for the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Josh, Matt, Josh. What is going on?
Anything happened today?
Well, I don't know.
I was late.
You were late.
Did you know that
It
6 a.m.
happens.
show starts at 6 a.m.?
Well, it does
Whoa,
now.
It does now? Okay. I didn't
Yep.
know that. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Typically, people would be like, what time? You do 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. What time do you get at the office? I go, oh, that's 6:01. They go, wait, you show up late every day? I go, no. We're at 6:10 to
I feel vindicated in a lot of ways.
9:55.
Why? Why doesn't the show start at 6?
I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of things on the show that I didn't know weren't, standard practices.
Okay. Well,
That was just one of them.
I just figured since they said 6 to 10, I just would start it at 6.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So wait, were you when did you get in?
He got in like right at 6.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But you were
Connor was running down the hallway before the show started
and
this
then-
morning.
Oh,
I knew we didn't have an open, so we had a cold open, and so I had no extra time. And it was just like, hello.
Well, and we
What?
hadn't discussed that in the general history of me filling in at the morning show. It never started at 6. So I
no,
just
never
assumed-
did. It started that.
I assumed I was here early.
That show 6:01 is early. 6:01 is like 12 minutes before
Dude,
we
I was
go
here
on.
like 5:35. Me and Joey were hanging out. We were partying. It was great.
Cold
Happer
open.
being here early is not a surprise. Me not putting together that Happer would not start the show at 6:05 or whatever I had assumed it would be. That was a
By the way,
mistake.
cold open. Joey couldn't have played like a little Leonard Skinner or something.
We
like
had
to
like
lead
a
in or
we
something?
had like a back to. I realized that all of my little bumps that I made were like back to, and like I suppose I could have done it, but I don't know. It was there was
Just
47 other things that I was thinking of.
Just
at
got to
the
put
time.
some TLC on, and all of a sudden you doo-wop hits, and the Happer and Schaefer shows live.
Should we have played doo-wop hits
Oh.
instead?
That'd be great.
All right,
Would you have
so
played some Scrubs?
Oh,
Just no Scrubs. Yeah.
You don't want no Scrubs?
That
Okay.
could have been a good lead in for us.
So-
left hand side.
like I said,
Back to the
a
bagel.
lot of people were there's a couple of people that were really nice. Say most of you are really mean, which is cool. But like there was a couple people that are really nice, and one of them was Josh Hodson, who knows that we love bagels, and
I mean, look at us.
we love Bagel Bin. Although Schaefer, I don't think you have been to Bagel Bin.
I've never been to Bagel Bin.
All right.
I have had Bagel Bin bagels by way of a sandwich that uses them here in town.
You gotta go. It's special stuff. So Josh brought in a big old bag of bagels, which I was extremely excited about, and then I was excited to eat one. And I'm just gonna use a bagel here as an example.
A
Yeah, go
prop,
for it.
if you would.
Oh, I got to enter.
Let's
the
use one of these
StreamYard in my own
poppy
show.
seeds. All right. So I took one of these bagels out and I said, look at this bagel. This looks delicious.
Good
If
looking bagel.
only I could eat it.
Why can't
It's
you?
not sliced. They offer you to slice it.
They also accept money in exchange for slicing.
How much money
no,
is
they
it?
don't. They
Wait,
say,
wait.
do you want them sliced?
Wait.
And
How much money does
costs
it
like
cost?
30 cents.
Per
You
bagel?
needed 30 cents on slicing. They have a slicer.
And they charge you for its use.
That's a hunk of crap. I wouldn't have sliced them.
Are you serious?
I
Do
wouldn't
they,
have
they
sliced them.
charge per bagel or just
They
order?
charge per bagel for sure. Without a doubt, it's per bagel. How many bagels could you get?
13.
You got 13 bagels.
It's
That's
a Baker's
three.
dozen. It's 12.
That's
so they're
that's
only-
three. That's $3.60, and he's going to have to pay. That's ridiculous.
There's no way that they charge you $3.60 to slice the bagels.
It's more than 60 cents, but you were in the ballpark.
What? It's 30 cents. 30 times 12. That's $3.60.
I thought he said 13.
No, it's 30
It's a Baker's dozen. They'll probably
Slicing
charge you
costs
for 12.
30 cents per dozen.
per dozen. No, you're a dummy. You should have sliced them.
What in the absolute
What?
hell, Josh?
What is that? Why 30
now
cents
he's just
overall?
gonna be like, well,
We got knives here.
Are you standing up to the system when you do that?
About
right.
those knives.
Wow, Josh wasn't.
So let's take a look at the knife.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I go
Is
to
it just a plastic butter knife?
I go
That's right.
to slice the bagel, which I actually had mild success with, although it wasn't clean. Then I went to dip the knife into the cream cheese.
Technically, I sliced my bagel before the cream cheese, which is to say
Smear
that it
it.
had gone through a lot of work having to work through those bagels.
Upon dipping my knife into the cream cheese, it immediately broke in half. It doesn't work anymore. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of still does work, but
Yeah, that's the bottom half of the bay or the
Well, that
knife
would have
half.
happened if I sliced them or not.
that's true.
Maybe they had to exert themselves being used to slice through the
That's
base.
true.
All the tensile strength was gone after
hot
that.
knife. Get a hot knife situation. So I'm not complaining, but
Don't
I
let the
thought-
internet say that I was complaining.
I just thought the decision was mildly questionable.
I don't think it's mildly questionable. I think it's fully questionable. If it's 30 cents a bagel, I totally understand.
It
being-
wouldn't be 30 cents a bagel. That
I don't
would
know.
be
Man,
ridiculous.
this is capitalism. All right. Everything is more expensive, and I don't know how things
It's
work
a mom
anymore.
and pop bagel shop.
I don't know. They got to get their buck.
Is the new midday show anti-capitalism?
Oh,
Oh,
Are you
no
marking
comment.
territory at this
No,
point?
no, I'm not.
important distinction.
I'm not
On
a
your
new mayor.
first day.
I'm
What
not.
are you anti?
Ooh.
I'm anti-Packer, anti-Lion, anti-Cardinal. Not Arizona, St. Louis.
Would you like your
anti-Nick.
code for when you're giving out stuff to be McManus? Would you like people to call in? And
Sure. Yes, that'd be great. That'd be great.
McManus.
McManus. Anti-Mike Woodson. Anti
Mike
David
Woodson.
David
What's there to hate
Blatt.
about that
Yeah,
guy?
He's just an overrated, failed upward.
Well,
coach.
yeah, he
I think
is.
we all see that.
Yeah,
Um,
but who hates him?
Can't stand David Blatt. Definitely
David Blatt.
anti-David Blatt. Anti-Daniel Murphy.
Daniel Murphy of the New York Mets.
And of the Washington Nationals and of the Colorado Rockies and formerly of the Chicago Cubs for a good half season. Yes.
Wow.
That Daniel Murphy.
Okay,
a lot of hate for Daniel Murphy.
these are weird.
Anti
I mean, Daniel Murphy, I'm pretty sure had a key error for the Royals in that World Series.
He did. Thank you, Daniel Murphy.
anti Kevin Kopps.
Him and Lucas Duda were throwing balls away like crazy.
Oh, I mean, definitely anti Aaron Rodgers.
What are you pro? Are you pro anything?
Oh, pro Jeremy Langford.
What are you?
Pro the
Um,
city of Chicago.
Pro Emmett Johnson.
Pro Bean?
Pro
Probably
Vincent-
pro Soldier Field.
No,
which is
not
disgusting.
anti Soldier Field and anti Bean.
Anti Bean.
Pro Shucks
thing.
Oysters over at in downtown, the downtown location over there. Definitely pro Shucks.
Can you believe this guy?
Pro Sandpoint, pro Charles Schwab Field, anti Haymarket Park.
Whoa!
These are good.
Man,
Takes.
it's a crap.
Northwestern guy is saying this?
Yeah, this is weird.
Anti old Northwestern Stadium, pro new Northwestern Stadium.
Wow.
Let's
Haymarket
see.
just
Is there any?
catching
Is there anything
strays.
else? Anti Alonzo Verge Jr.
He was getting buckets. That year.
Pro Bryce McGowan's.
Really? He didn't win a lot of games.
Yeah, but he was fun to watch on that really crappy Nebraska basketball.
See,
With
he
Alonzo
needed
Verge,
the
yes.
old dogs to let him be the puppy the way that Frager gets to be.
Exactly.
I don't know how that would have worked with him, if I'm honest.
Anti Puka Nakua, anti Matt Stafford, anti Kyron Williams, anti Blake Corum.
Where are you at on Bryce Young?
In the middle of Bryce Young, in between Young.
You've had to take on everybody, but Bryce Young, you're just like, okay.
I've learned through Josh Hodgson that I don't need an opinion on everybody, and I think he's a guy
Look at
that I don't really have an opinion on. I think there are moments where I'm like, ooh, good Bryce Young, and moments where I'm like, ooh, tiny Bryce Young.
Josh has already gone into his coaching era. Nice job, Josh. Way to go.
Hope to have a real fruitful tree in the next decade.
So what are you guys excited about for this new journey?
I don't know if I'm excited about this, but I would like an explanation.
Oh, a lot of people wants lots of explanations.
Wait,
I
you're not
have-
excited about this, Josh?
No, I'm thrilled about this. Just 9:42, I receive an email from Seth. Is Josh's wife pregnant? What does that mean?
Oh yeah, I got that email too. I didn't know what that was about.
Is
I,
Amy
okay.
expecting?
I
So-
definitely didn't say that.
Wait, is this good news? Is she pregnant?
She isn't decidedly not pregnant.
Decidingly.
I did not say that.
Okay, so
No,
there
who's
was
deciding?
nothing at the tail end of the show today that would have Seth believing my wife is pregnant.
Well, I
Unless Seth is trying to tell me something.
There was that one time that I did say that
I have to check the
Connor
tape.
Happer got a vasectomy live on the air, and Connor Happer has not gotten a vasectomy.
that's right. You did say that. What? Why did
Whoa.
you say
I
that?
misread a tweet.
Live
Judd-
on the
Judd-
air?
Judd,
You did, yeah.
yeah, Judd Davies, right? Who's
Oh yeah, Judd Davies is a doctor of some sort.
yeah, well, he's a vasectomy doctor, and
Well, I don't know what that
and,
means.
and Josh Peterson, admittingly on Twitter, said that he got a vasectomy, and then
some people were saying that they got a vasectomy from Judd
and then
Davies.
you tweeted something out where there was not a comma, and I thought there was a comma, so I thought you got
Yeah,
a
because some guy
vasectomy
came
as
in
well.
and he said, I got a vasectomy from Judd Davies. And I was like, I got a vasectomy from Judd Davies guy is really funny.
Yeah.
And I just thought that I said that.
I
about myself.
read it as Connor Happer being like, I also got a vasectomy.
Nope. Did
That
not
did happen.
Did not.
That did happen. Doug, you work at a bank? That was a good one too.
What else are you guys excited about?
Dylan Raiola. I'm excited about that. I get to talk about that.
No, I'm
today.
talking about you guys and your
The
new
show.
your new
Oh.
lives.
There's time for Dylan.
You left your old lives behind. This is your new life.
You know,
now.
What?
I love Captain Kirk. I love sitting in the chair.
Ah.
I do enjoy that. I'm looking forward to that.
Here's one.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Looking forward to sail.
We've pumped you full of food here this morning, but you're a man who loves lunch, longs for lunch. Today's the first day in many a year where you can eat lunch on a Monday.
You talking to me?
Yeah. What are you going to eat?
Can I tell you this right now? Man, when you told me, because I didn't know this about you, because I've always felt that I was in the minority, but lunch is my favorite meal of the day.
I love lunch.
Okay. And a lot of people,
I love sandwich.
a lot of people, oh my God,
Kiss it goodbye.
a lot of people have looked at me and been like, how the hell is lunch your favorite meal of the day? It's either breakfast or dinner. And they shame me. And I did not know that you are one of the very rare people like me that loves lunch. Man, have fun, because I get out of here
Look
and
at him.
I got out of here at 11 o'clock
Enjoy it.
and I would be like, man, what new lunch place am I going to go to? You know, I discovered.
Well, my lunch place will be home.
Yeah.
But
Unless we get this whole thing going where you just go to a different lunch place once. a week.
that's true. Schaefer already
Dude.
came with a great idea for a bit /
P&B?
segment. Just go to a different lunch place.
Dude.
And Happer Experiences Lunch is what it's called. I think.
Man, I discovered the Brazen Head. I discovered 3 different, sushi places. I discovered Shucks. I discovered Sandpoint. I discovered
Our
there's
friends from Sandpoint are closing.
what?
I went there on Friday. Yeah.
They're closing?
Yeah, they're shutting it down.
Oh my God.
They got like a week left.
I gotta go. I gotta find time. for it.
Lobster rolls.
Not for lunch.
I
to answer
discovered Porky Butts. It's a great place.
Yeah.
Discovered Jay's Smokehouse. That was an awesome time too. It's a lot of really. Man,
Did you discover
Omaha,
these places, or did Michael just take you to
It's
these
a mixture
places?
of Michael and
Okay.
myself.
I was gonna say the word discovered is being used probably
No,
wrong.
like Jackson Street Tavern over at Old Market. That was just, I was like, oh, that looks like a fine place to eat. And
Yeah,
I
what
went,
you mean
like-
is you learned of the existence.
Yeah,
of this.
right.
yeah, and then I ate there and I go,
Discovered
this is
implies
awesome.
that it didn't really have a,
Yeah, like
a
nobody has
presence
seen it
until
yet.
you found it.
No, discovering for myself is what I'm
That's
more so.
more
The
clear.
country
Yeah,
of
yeah.
McMaster.
Yes. When it began with Mount McMaster.
You're the Christopher Columbus of yourself.
Yes, I am.
In that
I am.
you attempted to go elsewhere, but found a new, exciting world
That's exactly
that
what
you took over
Can I be honest with
and
you?
enslaved.
That's
Kicked everybody else out.
That's actually exactly what my career at 1620 The Zone up to this point has been. I set sailed for an adventure that I thought was, going to be something, and it's turned into something
Welcome
quite
to
different.
the new Americas, Matt.
This is the Middays with Matt is just new America.
These are Mayans.
Yes.
I'm excited for you to find whatever it is you're going to find on this journey. You never know. You never know what you might run into.
Just gonna say, I hope you don't have any midday giveaways that are blankets, because people should flee for the hills.
Whoa. Why would you? I'm if you're doing Christopher Columbus history with me right now, it's not going to end up well. The only reference is
It'll
that-
land for the people that it lands for. And
Yeah.
it'll either be a groan-worthy thing, a horrified face, or they'll laugh.
It's one of those things where it's like, he sailed the ocean blue in 1492. That's just it. That's all.
I believe that's right.
That's all I know about him. And he's he's a guy that we used to celebrate, and now is Richard Head, known as Christopher Columbus. There we go. So don't compare me to him.
Okay.
Don't email me Mick Christopher Columbus.
Interesting.
Don't do it. Don't you dare do it. And don't call it a reset. Whatever you do, don't call it a reset.
But to answer Josh's question, I think lunch is canceled today. I'm good. I had a bagel.
Whoa.
And I had a McMuffin and a hash brown. So
Wow.
I think lunch is canceled.
Maybe
I'm back on my old schedule.
I never even ate my pastry crisp.
Yeah, you
over
did.
here.
We got fed.
I will say that one thing I will tell you guys about the 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. time slot. At the very beginning, I did go ahead and bring in something to eat. like every morning show, and I just never.
Yeah, there's
ate
no
it.
food tomorrow.
I
so-
never like
Yeah,
I,
right.
like I never
That
As
you
far as,
know of.
It really happens.
I never ate it, and so I just stopped even eating. Like I never ate breakfast when I did the morning show. Like I would wake up, have my Monster Energy drink, that was it, and then it just made lunch all that much more sweeter because I was so hungry.
I was thinking about bringing a banana today,
Yeah,
and I forgot it.
yeah.
Wow.
I packed a lunch today like a grown up. Like I packed it, and I
Pepper
was
did
like,
that.
and I was ready to go, and I did not grab it out of the fridge.
You have a lunch
So-
box?
No, I don't have a lunch box. I don't have a pencil box either. It's probably something I need to invest in.
You got a
because
trapper keeper?
Connor does.
What's a trapper keeper? What is that? Is that some
Oh.
Columbus,
What old people
Nebraska?
would know. It's what old
weird-
people would call a binder.
Yeah.
Particularly a binder that you could zip up.
So an expendable?
I don't know what an expendable is.
That's
Sylvester Stallone.
that's one of those expandable.
Oh,
Sorry,
That's different.
an expandable, not an expendable. An expandable. That's what I had. A trapper keeper. That just sounds like
yeah, no,
really
that's a
weird-
very old person.
It's an
phrase
old
for
school
binder.
term.
no, it is not old.
When's the last time you said trapper keeper?
1994.
I don't think people were even referring to them much as trapper keepers. I don't even know what the description of it is
Are kids like?
outside of what you just described.
I mean, that's effectively
That's kind of
what it is.
Yeah.
All right, here's my first dumb take of middays. With
Here we
Matt.
go.
All right. Let's
We got
go.
a sounder for this?
Much earlier. Not yet.
You need like the triple air horn going on
ring
here.
the dumb take gong.
Are kids who are born today, like on this very day, January 12th, 2025, how much?
6.
Okay, 2026.
We're off
Chef's
to a
kiss.
start.
How much about paper are they really going to know? You know?
I think this is a take.
Like the
this-
physical properties.
Yeah,
of
like are they
paper?
going to
This is an
know?
interesting
Yeah,
curiosity.
are they going to know what paper is?
Did their parents watch The Office?
Like,
Definitely.
is that how is that how they're going to learn about paper? Because here's my thing: like my entire college career, I never used paper, like ever. It was all on my computer. It was all on my laptop, and the only time we would like use paper is if like some weirdo had like an actual notebook, and they were like taking notes in the notebook. But then most of the
Are
time, if you're
they-
taking notes, you're doing it on your computer.
Are
And
these
I'm now-
one-day-old babies? Are they going to grow up to be in the media?
I don't know. Is that the
Well, let's
old?
just say if they grow up to be in the media and they find themselves at like a media section or like a scorer's table or something like that.
Yeah.
They will know about paper.
Sure.
There will be paper.
But like I'm talking about most of
there
America.
it'll
Will
be
they really?
strewn
Because
across and thrown away.
like is paper going to be the VHS tapes of my generation? You know, because we were kind of aware of what a VHS tape was.
Here's
and how to
a
use it.
chicken or the egg thing based
Sure.
off of what you're going with.
Yeah.
Are we going to lose the writing utensils before you lose the paper?
Ooh, great question, Mike Schaefer. Yeah, you have to,
So
right?
I would assume
You'd
the paper
lose-
still has value because you would print things like printing will still be a thing
Yeah.
before like you will no longer write stuff out. You will have printed it out or
Sure.
whatever.
Sure.
So that's why I'm saying the utensil would go before the paper.
What
Well,
about
like-
like autographs?
Ooh.
What
So-
are you gonna do?
So
Are
you
those
got-
still going to be a thing?
yeah, I feel like
Are
autographs.
you saying that nobody's gonna know how to write?
They're just going to DocuSign emails
Yeah.
to the children that seek autographs.
I don't think that would be a good thing for society if everyone didn't know how to write. That would be bad.
I agree. This is why this was
We're
a dumb
already
take.
working towards a society where people can't talk.
Well, I already know they can't read.
What do you mean
and-
can't talk? People can talk.
Like they talk in clipped phrases because everything's abbreviated because
Yeah.
you can't say a word that has more than like,
That's true. God, you're
3
right.
syllables.
Skibbity
So,
Chad.
yeah, like
Soon enough, we're all gonna be illiterate.
I think we're already getting there. Is kind of what Mike is referring to.
I
at
think
this
that's
point.
right.
I'm fine. Hudson, I don't know. I don't know what his.
My daughter likes.
I don't know
to-
what Hudson's going to inherit.
Has
Dawn
he-
holds the pencil really well, actually. Like
Oh,
the
Daughter's
really?
crayons
always reading.
really well. She's always reading. She's very studious. She doesn't know what she's looking at, but she picks up the pen like a normal person. She has this little like eraser board thing, and she likes to scribble stuff on there. So she's gonna write. And she was only born
Okay.
a year and a half
This
ago.
is just something I had to, because I'm, it's just, I went
I don't think
to
coloring will ever go away. Kids like color.
but
Office
in
Max.
order to color, you need paper.
You need utensil and paper.
I went
You
to,
don't want to color on a computer. That's not fun.
I
No, that would be dumb.
I went to Office Max and I bought this like yellow pad of paper. Okay.
Legal pad, yes.
And
We
and
got
it-
some of
we
those.
could supply
upstairs.
you those.
Go buy it.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean?
We
I
can
just-
supply you those. We got a
There's
whole
a
thing.
supply closet
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Well, I was back in my hometown, and I needed to take.
You
notes.
got on a train in Chicago to go to the office?
No, there was an Office Max that's right next to Skokie, Illinois. So I just walked on over there,
Sorry,
He has an office.
and-
Max,
Yeah,
And-
interesting.
and
I
I-
bet it's nice.
and I walked. It's a great Office Max. And
Did you consider Staples?
no, I'm an Office Max guy. Always has been, always will
Are
be.
you a member?
No, my dad is though, so I put in his number
I am too.
because he's got
That's where I
a
get my colors.
he is an old man
Disgusting.
who uses a lot of paper, and so I had to buy 5 reams of
You know,
paper.
you're talking to Mr. Paper right here,
I know.
right?
Mr.
I'm not.
Paper.
Yeah,
I love
I'm
a
not,
hard copy.
I'm not
Josh
worried
is
about
Mr.
us.
Paper.
I'm just saying I like paper.
Hard
I'm a big
copy
fan.
Odson, he's known as.
Yeah,
that's
I'm a
right.
big fan of paper and pens, and I hope that because of all the Chromebooks and the iPads and all the digital age, that your daughter will learn
Clearly
the
not.
ins and outs of paper, and maybe will come to love paper like I love paper.
So what was the point of buying your legal
this was
pads
really
again?
expensive.
Like
This
what?
was like $22.
No.
But how many of them?
This was one of them. It was
No.
a nice one.
It was not $22.
I don't
This was
believe
a
that.
lot.
No, it
This was a lot.
wasn't. It was less than $3.
Yeah.
That
This is a
is
lot of money.
less believable than the 30 cents per
That's the
bagel.
most ridiculous thing you've
This
ever
was a
said.
lot
Do you
of-
know how money works?
Inflation
This is a
in
lot of money.
Chicago is insane.
Yeah. I have received an
I don't know
email.
if it was 22, but it was a lot of money
It
when I
wasn't
picked it up.
$22.
It couldn't have been more than $4.
It was not more. It was not.
It was less than 3, almost for sure. Honestly, I don't even know
Again-
how you got one at a time.
Now,
You
your
know?
breaks aren't as long in the midday show, from what I understand. But if you have a decent sized one, maybe someone
Look,
can show you. There's
A
supply
med
closet.
legal pad, top spiral bound, wide ruled paper, 70 sheets was 1971.
How many is in the pack?
Well, this was on Amazon. Let me look.
It's got to be at least 15 of them in the
Yeah,
pack.
there's no way a single pad costs.
They're actually
$19.
bringing you a crate of them.
It was a lot of money.
I don't think you know how money works.
I don't.
How much could a banana really cost?
I'm guessing $1.
Okay, what's your email say, Josh?
This is from the Omaha Public Schools.
Huh.
Oh, good.
I believe this is their current version of the handbook or whatever. Book bags, large bags, purses, hats, binders, Sharpies, and trapper keepers will not be permitted
Whoa!
and will be collected at the doors.
What? They're not allowed to bring trapper keepers to school?
I guess not.
Isn't it a school supply?
I mean, book bags is the first thing listed.
What is this for, an elementary school?
I don't know. This person's children cannot bring book bags to school.
Okay, what is going on? Paper costs $50 and you can't bring backpacks to school? This is all incorrect information. None of this is right. Matt, did you find out how many pads they were selling in there? I guarantee it's at least 15.
Not looking good for Matt.
It was
over
4
here.
pads. It was a 4-pad pack.
For $20?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's still really expensive.
Higher than we were guessing.
Yeah.
But not $22.
Yeah.
Now, who
That's
knows
why I
in
didn't.
Chicago?
That's why I didn't buy it.
Maybe this is why it started off anti-capitalism over here.
I'm not anti-capitalism.
Mm.
I'm not anything. I don't care about politics.
What are you, man?
I don't know, man. I'm a lost boy.
I'm not anything.
I'm not. I don't care about politics whatsoever. I don't. If you're tuning in for my political takes, not gonna have them for you.
Did you see your girlfriend at the coffee shop?
No, it was Nosy Rosie was there though today.
Well, don't call her that.
That's what she called herself.
Oh.
She goes, "My name's Rosie.
They call me.
They call me
Nose.
Nosy Rosie."
You should have said, I'm not going to call you that.
No, I just call her Rosie. But
Do you have to call her something?
well, I'm nice to her.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't say you had to be mean.
She
to
serves
her.
me my coffee a lot.
Thank you.
No,
Rosie.
I did not see my girlfriend, and I'm a little disappointed because I haven't seen her since that one Friday.
I haven't seen her either.
Does
and-
she know that she's your
Yeah.
girlfriend?
No,
She does not.
No, we're talking about a girl that was gorgeous at Dundee Double Shot.
She was interested, or Matt was
Is this
interested.
a new version of Misconnections? It's just you on air talking about the women around
And then
Omaha?
he like had this thing about how he really wanted to just date a barista in general. And,
Yeah, I do. I think. Well, I don't want to date anybody that likes sports. I don't. Okay, I don't want my wife to like sports because I
I
want
think you're being too particular.
I think that's probably accurate. I think you're probably spot on. I think the reason why I haven't had a girlfriend in 6 years is probably my
Little bit of
fault. Yeah, and nobody else's. But no, I
Self
want.
inventory.
Yeah, I don't.
Good decision.
I don't want to come back and my wife is like, you had some bad takes today. Like I just want her to not really care.
You understand that would happen whether she likes sports or not. That's just marriage.
I don't think I think I would have just bad takes on life probably.
Yeah,
for
I'm not
her.
saying the
I'm more
takes
so
are limited to
talking about-
sports.
I'm more so talking about sport takes.
Does your wife have strong opinions on your sport takes?
Not at all. I don't even think she hears them.
But does she have opinions on your other takes?
I'm trying to think of another. Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
she likes them.
Your wife definitely has opinions.
Yeah,
You're like my wife likes me.
she likes my regular takes. Yeah,
I hope so. You're married.
unclear on my sports takes.
Yeah. Have you asked her? Like, what do you think?
No,
about
because I
my
don't think
opinion
she
on
really
doing
has sports takes. So I don't think she could
See,
really
that's exactly-
opine on my sports.
That's
takes.
exactly what I'm looking for.
Sorry, she's taken.
Well, I'm not trying to marry your wife.
All right, that's
okay?
good.
Yeah, no.
It'd be a
It's not
weird,
what I'm
awkward
attempting to
first
do.
day of this transition if that was the case.
Takes your show, marries your wife. Things are getting weird.
already took my work wife.
Takes
Yeah.
Connor's show.
We're
Who's
going to
taking
divorce
whose
court.
show?
That's
true.
what this divorce court is about.
Who took whose
Yeah.
show?
So you had an idea.
It's not an idea. It's happening.
So this is tomorrow.
This is tomorrow.
All right, but Schaefer, I guess you have to be the mediator of
I
this.
don't know anybody needs that or wants that.
You're the
You
only
have to
person.
do something.
Wait.
You're the only person who could speak.
You're gonna be here.
relatively independently about this, and Matt came up with the idea that we do like a bit divorce court situation, which I don't know. Like my argument to all of these is going to be like I made it up.
Yeah, I don't know what his standing is. That's
Yeah.
The reason I can't be a mediator is my first question is going to be what standing do you have to this claim?
On
And then he
the
won't-
topic of I have an opinion, what say you, Connor? Give your argument. I made it up. All right, Matt. What about you? What?
I would
what's-
like to use it.
Connor wins.
So I have been thinking about this divorce court, and there are some things
He just wants to dress up, and he wants Schaefer to wear a robe.
I think that's it. Yeah.
that's really
One of the white powder wigs.
so. First
Yeah,
off,
I mean, look, I'm in on that.
so first off, yes.
I
Okay,
thought we were
1,000,000%.
just sitting in a boring conference room. but
I was
now that there's wigs involved.
I wanted you to like somebody to find you a robe that you could wear. Is kind of what I was looking for. I didn't tell you or Josh this, but yes, I was totally gonna go ahead and wear a blazer tomorrow and a tie.
You told me that.
Yeah, did I tell you that?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So that's also happening. There are things that I've thought about that were kind of Josh's brainchild that I would like to bring over here.
Oh, so now
There's
actually,
there's things that were
is
Josh's.
it really just is it a Josh and Happer
Maybe it
divorce
is.
court?
This is a
I
Josh.
mean, we're the ones getting divorced, I guess.
This is a Josh and Happer.
When you positioned it to me, it sounded more like a Matt and you, and I
That's
was
the
like,
way
no.
he said to me.
No. This is a Josh and Happer divorce court, but I am
this
but,
has more.
but-
I'm now
but
interested.
I am communicating through Josh things that I would like for the show that were formerly yours. Now I've like for
I
example
award Happer odd news.
for
that I can't have. I
for
don't think.
example-
I have no claim to that.
for example, I really want the chunkies. I really
What?
want the chunkies.
Okay, that is definitely mine.
Yeah.
that is definitely
And
mine.
exactly, I'm not going to be able to take that from you. But there are some sounders on here. There are some, Holy Chicago. We would like that.
That's actually not even mine. That's the afternoon shows.
So we're,
Yeah.
Josh and I are going to have a conversation of things that might be in the gray area of between Happer and Odson of that would have to separate and what we want.
That's
and
some
I
drops.
And I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun if you two, I mean, I'm going to be probably like a mini mediator as well in terms of the fact that this is your divorce. This is the Happer and Odson.
Okay, let's have it out. Me and Josh will fight. This is what everybody wanted.
Is this like the Kramer
Eponymous
versus
disagree.
Kramer? Did you
Yeah.
see that movie?
No, I'm aware of it though.
Yeah. Well, nobody else in this room but you had the chance
Yeah.
of seeing that. I saw it, but the other.
What's
two.
Kramer versus
Is it good?
Yeah, it was. Actually.
Okay.
This is Doug Kramer versus Doug Kramer?
I don't think so.
Dustin Hoffman versus
Is it Meryl
I
Streep?
think so.
Yeah, it's Meryl Streep. It's a movie about a divorce and how it
Okay.
pulls a family apart.
Oh, there's plenty of
It's
those out
it's
there.
definitely not an uplifting movie. We'll put it that way.
I don't need to watch that. Like there's that one Harrison Ford movie where he's cheating on his wife all the time and then he gets
Air
into-
Force One.
No,
What lesbian?
forgetting or something.
Marshall.
No,
Star
not
Wars.
forget. No, Henry.
The Fugitive.
Forgetting Henry. Something Henry. Henry whatever.
Old Henry.
No, Harrison Ford just cheats on his wife over and over and over and over again. And he's a piece of crap. And then like he hits his head and goes into a
I thought
coma.
we named all the movies, and you kept saying no.
I don't know what
and
you're talking
and then
about.
he ends up, becoming a really good guy,
After he goes in a coma?
Yeah.
Shrinking?
No. Anyway, that's one of my dad's favorite.
Regarding Henry.
Regarding Henry.
I have never heard.
You
of
never
it.
heard of the Regarding Henry? It's actually one of Harrison Ford's more well-known movies.
I haven't seen very many Harrison Ford
We are
movies.
getting a head shake
That's-
over here from our resident movie.
Well,
Let's
Whoa.
go, Josh.
Whoa, really? Regarding Henry isn't like a popular movie?
It isn't one of Harrison Ford's most notable movies.
That's what I thought.
I would put Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Well, obviously,
Blade
there are-
Runner.
there's a lot above it.
Star Wars.
Regarding Henry's a banger, but that's also very depressing. That's probably one of
It's
the
so
more
notable you couldn't come up with the name.
Yeah. This has been one hell of a crossover.
I agree.
I like it.
I agree. And I think it's over.
It is over.
Okay.
So early.
I think it's about a normal time, probably. Yeah. We started early. That'll be the time we start.
started
All
on
right, so
time.
what have we learned today?
Show up on time.
Paper.
Show starts at 6.
Yes.
Show last segment ends at probably 9:48-ish or somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah. Caught me off guard, if I'm being honest.
I apologize for not communicating this with any of you. I just was going off of
He sucks.
I was just
I
going
wouldn't
off
say
of
that.
like
He's
how
the
I thought it was
worst.
supposed to work, but there is something.
He was
to
operating on the
the other
idea
part.
that he understood what the morning show was. Those of us with experience with the morning show were operating under the parameters that we had lived in through its duration.
Mhm.
And now there's new parameters. That's all there is to it.
New parameters.
New parameters.
parameters.
There's a new sheriff in town.
That's
His
what the
name's
show's
Connor
called.
Happer.
New parameters.
New parameters.
And also, everyone yells at us. That's.
I was going to say, what else did we learn? Don't read the comments.
Don't read the comments. Not today.
Unless they look like they're nice, then you want to read them.
Yeah, or they're productive in some way to the
There's a
show.
lot of nice comments out there. I
There
don't
was some
think
nice
people have
stuff.
been as mean as you have said, but
No, there's a bunch of people that are just mean 7 times.
yeah, sure.
And so that
The
adds up.
volume of it.
Yeah.
No one's going to be nice to you 7 times.
I know.
Oh,
What
you
can
guys
do?
had Tim Vergeese on your show?
Yes.
Okay. Tim Vergeese. You're going to hear him a lot in 1620.
Hopefully not today.
No, not today.
Okay.
Not today. Today we
We were looking for people that had not been on 1620.
Tim Vergeese Tuesdays is what's happening.
That's great.
And
I don't care.
And by the way, Tim Vergeese doesn't know that yet, but I have to.
We should probably hit him up.
I should probably
Yeah.
tell Tim.
Clock's ticking.
We'll have Robin on at some point.
Rob.
We'll have Robin watch it.
All right, cool. See ya.
See ya. That was the Crossover. Crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Coming up next, we will close the book on something and open the book on something that will be incredibly fun for you, for me, for Josh Hodson, and everybody here at 1620 The Zone. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Matt coming up next. And here.
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. Chicago is fun! Holy Chicago! The Bears.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Alrighty. You are listening to Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. But before we can get into things, we're gonna start off. We're gonna have a talk. Between me and between you, whether you're listening on the radio, or whether you're listening on YouTube, or whether you're listening on the app. And in the long history of hopefully the incoming long history of this show, it's my hope that this is one of the most important segments that we'll have. But in all seriousness, this is not the first segment of Middays with Matt. This is the last segment of Gary and Matt. Not going to blow by it. We're not going to ignore it. Gary Sharp is no longer here at 1620 The Zone. I mean this with all my heart when I say it. I love Gary Sharp. I care about Gary Sharp greatly. Gary is a Nebraska radio legend. That's not an understatement. And he looked at me, a young 22-year-old at the time, trying to get his start in broadcasting, and saw something in me that a lot of people maybe didn't see, and was willing to give me this opportunity to be here on 1620 The Zone, was willing to say, this is the guy that I want to work with. And that is something that I'll never forget in my entire life. It's something that will never leave my mind. It's something that I forever will be thankful and grateful for, because I love 1620 The Zone. I love our listening audience, and I love the people that I get to talk to and honestly entertain every single day. And Gary and Matt meant the world to me. The show meant more to me than honestly anything outside of my family has ever meant to me. But I want to hit on this important distinction. When I started with Gary Sharp and Jimmy Chavez on Gary and Matt, the show meant a lot to me because it was about me. Because when I first started on Gary and Matt, I looked at it as, man, this is an opportunity for me to be on the radio. This is an opportunity for me to host a show. This is an opportunity for me to build my brand. This is an opportunity for me to go ahead and become a better broadcaster and become more well-known. And through Jimmy and through Gary, I learned that is not why we do this job. We do this job for you. And I remember sitting in this chair that I'm sitting in right now. Gary looked at me and he said, "It's entertainment, dude. We got to entertain them." And as time went on, I got out of bed every day in the morning thinking about Gary and Matt, not because I looked at it as an opportunity for me to get better. I looked at it as an opportunity to entertain you. And this is what Middays with Matt is. Middays with Matt is not about me, and it's not about Josh Hodson. It's about you, whether you're listening on the radio, whether you're listening on the app, or whether you're listening on YouTube. Okay? This is an opportunity, a forum. This is a platform for us to talk, for us to learn, for us to, discuss about things that we love. I love sports. I love the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I love college basketball. I love college football. I love the NFL. I love hockey. I love horse racing. I love the things that you want to talk about. And that's exactly what the show is going to be. And I know that there are a lot of people who love Gary. And I know that there are a lot of people who are afraid of change. And don't get me wrong, change is scary. But all I ask, and I don't ask a lot from the listeners, but I'll ask this one thing. Just give us a chance. Just give us a chance. if you listen to the show and you don't like the show, I just hope you come back around and you give us another shot. But if you listen to the show and you enjoy it and you're entertained by it and you laughed at it and you laughed at the things we said, or maybe you laugh at me, or maybe you laugh at Josh, and maybe if you love it, if you love the show, 402-951-1620. My email's matt@1620thezone. Josh's is Josh at 1620thezone. My Twitter is at Matt McMedia. Tweet at us. Email us. Call us. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Give me your opinions, right? To me, radio is not somewhere where I come on here and I tell you what I think and I expect you to 1,000,000% agree with me and say, yeah, that's what I think now. No, my opinions are there to help you shape your opinions, because we're all unique and we're all different and we all have different life experiences and we all see things different ways. And so all I want is just you to feel as much a part of this as Josh and I do. And that's what the base of the show is. Okay. We're here to entertain you. We're here to help educate you. We're here to talk to you. We're here to experience life together. And, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in and around us and everything like that. And if sports talk, our silly little sports talk radio show, can be entertaining for you and maybe allow you to disconnect from some of the things that are happening, in the real world, then we did our job. So I am so excited to have this slot. I'm so excited to host with Josh Hodson. And I am so incredibly grateful, thankful for everybody that has come before me, everybody that has created the monster that is 1620 The Zone. And I am so excited to see what Josh and I can do in the future. And I'm so excited to have this experience with you. I'm young, man. I'm young.
I've noticed.
And sometimes I'm called dumb. I'm going to grow. I'm going to grow up. I'm going to learn.
There's dumb old people
I'm going
to
to experience things, with you, and I can't wait to grow with you. And I cannot wait to get better at this. And I cannot wait to experience what we're going to experience together. And so a lot of it's been the craziest weekend of my life, and this definitely is in a way bittersweet because I very much enjoyed the people that I worked with before, but it's so sweet because Josh is one of the best producers I've ever met in my entire life. And I cannot wait to see what what we will grow this thing into. So, I don't think it's a surprise, I don't think it'd be surprising for anyone to know that, I love Captain Kirk. I think James Tiberius Kirk is kind of one of my movie heroes. And the trope of Star Trek is before you get to sit in the chair, you have to respect the chair. For the last year, I've grown to do nothing other than respect the chair that I'm currently sitting in. The chair has my respect. It's time for me to earn yours. And we're going to do that here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Our very first segment of this show is up next.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Get a free second pair of glasses with insurance at iMart Express. Now with an upgraded selection of over
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on the first ever episode of Middays with Matt, myself, and Josh Odson. Welcome to the ship. Welcome to the pirate ship. We're going to have some fun on the show.
Thanks for beaming me up, Kirk.
We are, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. Look, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about pop culture. We're going to talk about entertainment. We're going to sometimes, not all the times, talk about my dumb, stupid life and the things that happen. I've always been one of those people, Josh Odson, where it's like, why does that happen to you? You know, like, why is it? I was that kid in school.
You do say a lot of things that I go, that would only happen to you.
Yeah. It's just like, maybe some people can relate, but I was the kid at school. Whenever there was like a problem, for whatever reason, I would just find my nose in it, even if it didn't really have a whole lot to do with me. It's just been the nature of who I am. I've always been incredibly curious and always happy to look at things from a different angle, so you don't have to sound like a dummy when you do. I will take that hit for you, and this is we're gonna have a good time here on the show. And you know what? Maybe the stars have aligned for this show to end up being incredibly successful. and for it to accomplish what you and I wanted to accomplish, because we have been blessed by the gods for our very first segment to be about one of the most magnanimous and maybe infamous people in recent history of Nebraska football, Dylan Raiola.
That dork.
Dylan. Yeah, you can call him that if you want to. I mean, all the gloves are off at this point on what you want to call Dylan. I think it's been an interesting development with him in terms of the fact that, he comes in, everybody's very excited about him. He does not achieve anything really that you were hoping that he was going to end up achieving.
That's right.
And I think that if you were following the situation of Dylan Raiola in general, I think you could kind of put together the tea leaves of like, okay, there's a lot of other influences that are going on that are beyond the football field. But I think we kind of ignored that in the beginning of the second season because there was just so much hope that he could end up becoming the prospect that he could, end up developing into. I mean, he was a 5-star for a reason. I mean, he's a really big dude. He's got a really, really good arm. He showed that there were times that he could improvise, right? If he could actually, move outside of the pocket. And funny enough, his deep ball accuracy was highly heralded in high school, but it just never seemed to transition into college. And, I think as time went on and he did not perform the way that you wanted him to, a lot of the things that we kind of put together were going on behind the scenes came more to light. And I also think, too, that, Nebraska fans have never seen a quarterback like Dylan Raiola before in terms of the fact where it was all about him. It was all about the brand. It was all about, how can I use Nebraska to elevate my platform, where Nebraska football fans have been very used to seeing, the opposite of seeing people, wanting to play for Nebraska because it's about the N. It's about Lincoln. It's about the Huskers. It's about, winning football games. And I think that there were just some antics and things that Dylan would do that definitely communicated to you that wasn't the case. It wasn't all about the team, and it was a lot about how does he look and how are people talking about me and how am I being portrayed. And I think that caught people off guard and it rubbed people the wrong way. And then when you have that on top of the fact that he just did not play up to the level that you expected him to, things kind of fall apart and he ends up entering the transfer portal. Now, I'll make an analogy here for Dylan Raiola going to Oregon. It's almost like when you have an ex and you don't want to be with that ex anymore. Like you were done. You kind of broke things off. Like you were totally content.
Hit the bricks, baby.
Yeah, of not being in a relationship with that person anymore. But then they end up getting a hotter, let's just say a hotter boyfriend at this point.
They won the breakup.
And and you look at them and it's not so much that you're like jealous, and it's not so much that you're like, wow, why can't I be that guy? And oh my God, why did why did Dylan pick Oregon over Nebraska? It's not any of that.
What's Oregon got that I don't got?
It's more so you're looking at the situation, you're like, how? Like, how did they get them? Like, how did that work out? Like, how did Dylan Raiola, after 2 years of Nebraska, which was a failure, his time at Nebraska was a failure, how did he end up going to a place that is way more suited for him to have success? And why would a team like Oregon and a program like Oregon that is very much on their way to becoming a wagon? I mean, they already are kind of a wagon to begin with for a very long time. Why do they take a guy like Dylan Raiola who clearly has his flaws? And I think what this is all going to boil down to is, what does Dante Moore do? Because before the Indiana-Oregon game, and this is why the Indiana-Oregon game is way more, and we'll talk about Indiana later. I got plenty on that. But the Indiana-Oregon game was way more than just, well, Indiana kicked the crap out of Oregon, and they're one of the best teams in the country, and rightfully so. They're a big favorite heading into the national championship game against Miami. It was more than just that, because Fernando Mendoza was projected to be the number 1 overall pick heading into the NFL draft. Dante Moore is projected to be the number 2 pick heading into the NFL draft. And if you're a draft junkie like myself, you're like, oh my God, this is a duel between the top 2 quarterbacks on the big board. whoever plays better or shows out or has a great game could definitely launch themselves ahead of the other person to be drafted number 1 overall. And Fernando Mendoza decidingly outperformed Dante Moore. And I think it would be incredibly tough for the Vegas Raiders to go ahead and draft Dante Moore in front of Fernando Mendoza when Mendoza's sitting right there and try to explain that to their fans, because Raiders fans were tuned into that Indiana-Oregon game trying to see, okay, who is going to be our quarterback of the future? And if I'm a Raider fan, I'm saying it's Moore. It's Mendoza. I saw Mendoza play great. I saw Moore stare down D'Angelo Pons and throw it right at him and have a pick six on the very first throw of the game, which definitely, shifted that game's momentum incredibly early. They've seen it. They saw Dante Moore kind of have a slow clock a little bit against Indiana and himself take a little bit too long to make decisions. They saw Fernando Mendoza pick apart an Oregon defense and look just, very poised in the pocket and be able to get out of situations and make plays with his feet. Like, they saw it. And so with Dante Moore, I don't think there's any way that the Vegas Raiders can convince their fans and convince themselves that they should take him over Mendoza. And so now Dante Moore, and he did not have this before the Indiana game, but now he does. He has a legitimate decision to make of, do I go to the NFL or do I stay one more year with Oregon, where he undoubtedly will get a lot of money to do that, to go ahead and stay at Oregon. And it's already been reported, hey, Oregon is going to do everything they possibly can to keep Moore around. And so if Moore stays, I think this is an incredible decision, not only by Dylan Raiola, but Oregon as well. And the reason why I think it would be an incredible decision by both sides is go ahead and look at Moore, right? Look at Moore's career path. He did not start at Oregon. He was a 5-star quarterback that went to UCLA, much like Dylan Raiola. People were surprised. They were like, wow, okay, Moore, 5-star quarterback, big get for UCLA. We'll see how this works out. And Dante Moore went ahead and started his true freshman season. And he threw for 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions with a 53% completion percentage. And there were moments where it did not look good for Moore. And what did Oregon say? We're going to bring you in. We got this guy, Dylan Gabriel. He is our quarterback. He's going to the NFL next year. You are going to sit a whole year. You're going to learn under him. You're going to learn under Dan Lanning. And we are going to make you a better quarterback. And then you're going to play. And then you're going to get drafted. That's what's going to happen to Moore. I think Oregon is looking at the situation, getting Dylan Raiola as not a, wow, we got to go and get Dylan, and he's going to be our for sure quarterback next year, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to start and he's going to lead us back to the promised land. I think they're looking at this Dylan Raiola situation with the hope of replicating what they did with Moore. Because look at Dylan's freshman year stats: 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And then he had a second year to come back, and he cleaned. Look, for what you want to say about Dylan Raiola and his lack of mobility and his fact that he had the highest pressure to sack percentage ratio in the country, which was embarrassingly high, it was like 34%. Cut down the turnovers, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Completion percentage, while that definitely is skewed because he never threw the ball out of bounds to avoid sacks, still was more accurate. Like you can go ahead and look at Dylan Raiola's first season and say, and his first 2 seasons really, and say, hey, he played better than Dante Moore. So I think Oregon looks at this as, hey, we are going to go all in to keep Moore around. We're going to make this heavy investment. We're going to try and make him stay. We're going to have him play one more year with the hope that he will be the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and convince him, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to have a pitch for Moore. They're going to tell Dante Moore, would you rather get paid a crap ton of money that we can give you because we got the Nike money and play for a team that is definitely going to be in the top 3 to begin next year in the preseason rankings and go ahead and try and win a national championship? Or would you rather get drafted by the New York Jets? Because that's the future that awaits Dante Moore if he decides to enter the NFL.
Yikes.
Okay. And I don't have to go down the list of quarterbacks that have failed with the New York Jets. And even more damning is the list of quarterbacks that failed with the New York Jets and then ended up succeeding elsewhere. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold. I think Moore has a legitimate decision to make. And I think On the outside, if you look at this Dylan Raiola acquirement from Oregon, is like, all right, they're going to get him to be a starting quarterback. You might be baffled. But when you look at it through the lens of they're going to do everything to bring more back, I think this is Oregon once again playing chess. Because if you give Dylan Raiola a year to sit back, take a red shirt, learn under Dante Moore, learn under Dan Lanning, take a entire year to, slim down his body and get his mobility in the right direction and to see the game from the sidelines, which a lot of people here would call in and suggest that he needed to do. I think that is going to do wonders for Raiola's development. So I think it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, wow, how did my girlfriend, who is a 6, who I was sick and tired of being with, end up getting with a 10? What does that 10 see in the 6? It's more so what they see in the future. And I think with this model, a model that they've already used and a model that's already shown them success, they're looking to replicate it with Dylan Raiola. And I give way more kudos to Oregon for looking at it that way and attacking it in that manner, as opposed to giving Dylan Raiola and his family credit for failing upwards. And clearly, this late in the transfer portal cycle, this wasn't Oregon's first decision, it just seems like. But it definitely ended up being something that could benefit them greatly if Moore comes back, which it really would be the first time in this NIL era. And I know that it's happened in earlier years in the old school era, but it'd be the first time in this NIL era where, first round quarterbacks get paid a ton of money and a guy who is for sure going to go in the top 2 decides, nope, I'd rather go to college. I'd rather go to college than be the number 2 overall pick in the draft and pass up that money to go and get more money from Oregon or the same amount of money from Oregon. So we will see. And I think that is the Dante Moore situation, outside of what will happen in the college football playoff national championship, will be one of the biggest storylines to follow. Alrighty, coming up next, I believe the AP poll should be coming out at 12 o'clock today. We will be keeping an eye on where Nebraska basketball is ranked after their awesome victory against Indiana. We'll talk all about that. We'll also talk about some Blue Jay basketball.
Jays.
Man, the Jays, it was a tough loss. Do you bury the tape or do you push the panic button after their 17-point defeat against the St. John's Red Storm? On top of that, the NFL wildcard happened over the weekend, and it was an entertaining and riveting and storyline-filled wildcard weekend that we can completely dive into. On top of that, the Huskers themselves have been busy in the portal. While, Dylan Raiola has gone ahead and found his home, Nebraska has addressed some needs, not only from a personnel perspective, but from a coaching perspective as well. We'll talk about all of that, and we'll talk about some more Indiana football and the impact they're making, and just completely changing the landscape of college football. And we got some more fun stuff to talk about. The odd news will be coming up at some point. Robin Washut will be coming on at 1:20. He is a part of today's lineup, which is powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. 402-951-1620, the zone is the number. Please call. First show of Middays with Matt here. I'd love to hear what you think. And on top of that, Matt at 1620 the zone. If you want to get a couple emails in, Josh O at 1620 the zone. Listen to the first show of Middays with Matt here on 1620 the zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
The NFL playoff bracket is taking its shape. We will find out the final matchup of the divisional round tonight when the Houston Texans take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which will be a wildly interesting game. Houston, man, that defense has been awesome all year, and it just seemed like for one quarter against the Los Angeles Chargers, when the Houston Texans offense with C.J. Stroud could get past their offensive line issues, that they looked like a Super Bowl contender. That was one quarter, though. Got to do that for 4 quarters in the game of football if you're wanting to win games. And so we'll see if old Aaron Rodgers can pull one rabbit out of the hat tonight. That game in Pittsburgh. I'm never going to call it Acrisure Stadium. Heinz Field is going to be rocking. We're going to go to the fun lines here, the Prairie Flower Casino hotline, and we'll talk to somebody whose favorite NFL team has its matchup. The first caller of Middays with Matt in the history of this show will be one of my favorites, honestly. Denver Broncos, Eric. Oh, I put on the wrong guy. Denver Broncos, Eric. You are on. How do you feel about taking on the Buffalo Bills, my man?
Well, I got my matchup. I got Josh Allen.
You do.
And no offense, but between tight ends and wide receivers for Buffalo, there ain't nobody that scares me.
Sure, I agree with that. Now, I got to say this, though. You got to be worried. Got to be worried about that man, Josh Allen. He's a bad, bad man. That was a legacy drive he had.
I'm more worried about James Cook than I am Josh Allen.
Fair enough. Really. So this is a good point by you, because your Broncos, you got the secondary. You can handle it. And the weapons on the outside, you make a great point. You don't have really anyone that scares you all that much. And even Khalil Shakir, he's dealing with some injury, too. So he's even kind of TBD. You're worried about Cook?
I'm more worried about Cook, and then, to be absolutely honest about it,
yeah,
my linebackers are going to be busy.
Sure.
All day long.
For sure.
Mr. Singleton, I need him to be a rock star.
I will say this, Eric, your pass rush has been real good all year, and the one thing that hasn't really carried over from last season to this season is Josh Allen was one of the best quarterbacks in the league last year to evade pressure. He has not been able to do that at the same level. And so if your pass rush can show up, I think you guys have a really good fighting shot against containing.
I'm sure the D-line's putting in the game plan now, because as you noticed, even Jacksonville was able to stunt a little bit.
Big time.
And when they pulled the stunt, they were able to get to him.
Yep. And Jacksonville's got a very good D-line. So Jacksonville's defense, I think, was something that we weren't talking about nearly enough. So I got a question for you, right? So you go ahead and you win this game. You'll play either the Patriots, Texans, or Steelers. Are you more nervous about playing the Bills than you are those 3 teams?
Yes.
Okay. So you think this is kind of if you can get past this, you're sitting pretty.
We went down to Houston.
You did?
Denver already went down to Houston and beat Houston on their home field. I'm not worried about Houston. Houston's got the best defense out of the 3.
Yeah.
By far.
Absolutely.
But the Patriots with Drake May, I think we saw last night with that first rookie start in the playoffs, he came through.
Yep. Great call, Eric. You're spot on. I agree with you, too. I think, you got the second coming of John Elway on the other side of the ball when you guys go ahead and play the Denver Broncos. But if you can
the other beautiful thing is it seems like all the teams in the NFL that are left in the playoffs have 2-headed monsters. They got that dual running back kind of thing.
Yep.
I got to make it through this game, and I get my other running back back.
Yeah, you get Dobbins back. You get your guy.
Yep. I need 1 week. I need to beat the Bills, and then we're back at full strength, and then that should scare everybody in the NFL.
All righty. Beautiful, Eric. Thank you for being the first ever caller here on Middays with Matt.
Hey, no problem. And, hey, by the way, Gary Sharp, awesome dude, met in person, nice guy. I wish him the best in his future endeavors.
Well said. We'll go to Joe here on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline as well. Joe, how you doing, my man? It's good to hear from you.
Well, good afternoon, Matt. Congratulations.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
As someone who has been a loyal listener to the program, or I should say to the station since God knows when I lived in Phoenix and then coming to Vegas, it's sad that Gary got let go.
Yep.
I feel the same sentiments that you did. As someone who is the same age as Gary, but I tell you what, the energy that you brought to that show, the morning show prior, and just the fact that you're young and dumb, you're funny.
Thank you, Joe.
And listening to some of the things. Now, I do have a question for Josh.
Okay.
Because this did happen on Friday on the morning show. So I have to ask, Josh, are you armed and ready with Lysol in case Matt decides to destroy the air quality in the studio?
Yeah, we got a can of something in the corner of the room.
We do. The Lysol didn't leave, Joe.
We stay ready. We don't have to get ready.
Outstanding. And now, Matt, just one word of advice. I know you're going to Elimination Chamber in February.
I am. Great job, Joe.
You are going to talk a little WWE from time to time, I hope.
You know what? It's becoming more mainstream, and so I don't think we'll ever spend, a 20-minute segment on, whether or not Braun Breaker should have beaten CM Punk on Raw, but we'll mention it here and there for sure. Definitely on the Chamber weekend. So that'll
as someone who's going to Elimination Chamber, and as you know, as someone who's in the hometown where WrestleMania is going to be again this year.
Yep.
Very exciting.
Yes, incredibly excited.
I do have one thing I want to say real quick to the general public. For all you jackasses online that are giving Matt crap because what happened on Friday, it's not his fault. He is a good guy. Give the kid a chance, because I remember a young Josh Peterson when he first started, and you guys all crapped on him as well. And look what Josh has turned into.
You're the man, Joe.
You guys make sure you give Matt the time of day and give him the opportunity to show that he will fill this role and dominate when he gets his stuff going and ready to rock and roll. There you go, brother.
We're going to use that on the promo, Joe. You are the man. You are the man. We'll talk to you soon. And we got to meet up for Chamber for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. See you, my man.
Check's in the mail, Joe.
Check is in the mail. Indeed. Let's talk about the NFL playoffs, man. That was fun. That was awesome.
Was it fun for you?
Yes. Oh my God. It was. We'll talk about it later. Because we're in Nebraska, so we don't need to. I love the intro. I love the intro. I am from Chicago, very famously. But
you're from Chicago.
I am. I'm from Chicago.
Oh well, good thing I put all those Chicago things.
Yes, but we are in Omaha. We are in Omaha, and we're going to talk about Omaha sports and Nebraska sports more than anything. But
a lot of people thought you'd do something different.
But it is a part of my it is part of my being. It is a core piece of me. But I understand our audience. I understand that not everybody needs me to break down why Simpson has done a really good job filling in that linebacker role and has helped the Bears defense greatly. I don't need to talk about that. What we will talk about though is these playoffs, man. I crap on Super Wildcard Weekend. I'll tell you why I crap on Super Wildcard Weekend. I understand that I grew up in the participation trophy era of society.
As long as you
know. Like I am very well aware that kids like myself who were born in the 2000s, we were patted on the head and we were patted on the back, and we were told by our parents, this is the generalization, right? We were told by our parents we didn't do anything wrong and we gave it our best and that's all you can do and this and that. And here's your trophy for 7th place. We love you. We're so proud of you. It's not your fault. You didn't switch properly on the perimeter and gave up that 3-pointer. It was your coach's fault. He shouldn't have put you in that bad situation. I understand that's the generalization. Let me tell you something right now. Mike and Marty McMaster did not raise that kid. Okay. I grew up in the participation trophy era. I loathe participation trophies. Okay. I loathe them. I loathe losing. Okay. If you want to know anything about me, is that I like to win. I like to be competitive. Okay. And I can't stand the expanded playoffs that has happened all across sports. I can't stand that there are now 3 wild cards in the MLB. I thought, honestly, maybe a bad take, maybe one of the first ones that we'll have on the show. I kind of loved it when it was the 3 division winners and 1 wild card team.
Oh, let's go.
I preferred that.
Yeah.
I know that some people were like, well, I don't know, like that 1 wild card game where they let in 5 teams, like that was fun, that was cool. Yeah, but you know what? You play 162 games, and those 162 games should matter so much, and they mattered way more when you had 4 playoff teams in the MLB. I loved that. That was the era I grew up in. I can't stand the play-in. I already think too many teams get into the NBA playoffs to begin with. All right. I'm sorry. How many times are an 8 seed or a 7 seed really going to make a run? The fact that we are allowing 10 teams into the NBA playoffs is a joke. 12 is too many teams in the college football playoff. 16 is going to be absolutely ridiculous. And when they decided to add a 7th team to the NFL playoffs. I go, what are we doing? Like, are you telling me that you can win damn near 13 games and you don't get a bye anymore? There's only one team that gets a bye. That makes no sense. 7 teams of the play. That's too many. We can't be handing out these participation trophies at the top, the top level of sports. But
Tell them.
Super Wildcard Weekend's awesome. It's awesome. It's the 6 game, or sorry, the games that you get. They're competitive, especially this year. I mean, the NFL's been awesome this year, but the 6 games that you get to enjoy, the fact that there are so many storylines going into them, the fact that it's just high quality football across the board. Idiot coaches making bad. Look, San Francisco, Philadelphia, close game. So many storylines embedded. Carolina versus the Rams became a sneakily close game. Carolina almost pulled that off. Bears, Packers, enough said. Rivalry's back, baby. Then you got Jacksonville and Buffalo. I'll tell you this right now. When Josh Allen had the ball with 4 minutes left down, I go, here it is. This is his legacy drive. Like, this is what you work your career up to. You play in the playoff, or you play in the regular season, you get better in the offseason, and you prove yourself as a quarterback for these moments where you have the ball in a playoff game. You got to lead your team down the field and score a touchdown to win. This is what Josh Allen has been working to. He went out, he executed. It was awesome to see. Tonight's game between Houston and Pittsburgh will be incredibly entertaining. And then yesterday, when I was watching that Patriots-Chargers game, talk about a game embedded with so many storylines. With Lamar out of the playoffs, with Burrow out of the playoffs, and with Mahomes out of the playoffs, you had 3 of the top 4 quarterbacks out, right? We've in the NFL, we've established, hey, you got your 4, okay? Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, Jackson. Those are your 4. And then there's the next tier, right? I would actually go ahead and put Stafford in that too. So you have a top 5, right? Those are your 5. Because I think Matt Stafford's going to win the MVP. And Matt Stafford, I don't know if you could say he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL, like just in the grand scheme of things anymore. But for a while he was. And then he, went to LA and started winning a ton of football games. But that's besides the point. This was Herbert's opportunity because everybody has seen it with Justin Herbert. He's 6'5". He's big. He's got a great arm. He's smart. He's got some really good accuracy. Like he's got it. Like you look at a quarterback and you're like, okay, this is what a quarterback should look like. This is the type. This is the prototype. This is when you make quarterbacks in the lab, right? They are big, they are strong, they are physical, and they're accurate. And that's what he can be. And yesterday was his opportunity. In this playoff run was his opportunity to establish, hey, I am part of that upper echelon. I am part of, the elite group of quarterbacks. My name should be in the hat when we talk about the best quarterbacks in the game. I shouldn't be this, well, if it works out. No, that was your opportunity. And I don't care. I do not care if your offensive line has suffered 2 major injuries with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. I don't care. You can't go out and have 3 points on the board for a majority of that game. You cannot, and that was the number one takeaway. And Josh Allen did it. Josh Allen and Eric had a really good call. It's not like he's throwing to Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. And, it's not like he's going ahead and he's got George Kittle or Goddard or these high. No, he's got
Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's got some issues that he's got to work around. And at the end of the game, it was his legs and it was his physicality and it was his pure will who led Buffalo down the field against a damn good defense in Jacksonville and won the game. That's the difference between Allen and Herbert. And we saw that yesterday. And then my second takeaway was, and it's from that same game, how the hell did your Tennessee Titans let go of Mike Vrabel?
Incompetent ownership.
How in the hell did that happen?
I was telling people he's going to go coach the Patriots and they're going to be good right away. And everybody said, oh, you beautiful idiot.
It just, I just feel like good coaches in a lot of ways are like great quarterbacks. When you got them, you hang on to them. You hang on for dear life. Yeah. And you get into, and let's be honest here, right? Like it's not like Mike Vrabel went to a Super Bowl. Okay. It's not as if Mike Vrabel, was having the Tennessee Titans in the AFC Championship year in and year out.
He still has a penis.
Yes, he famously said that he would cut off his
America's not going to forget that, Mike. I hope you know that.
Look, the guy went 13-21 in his last 34 games as the Tennessee Titans head coach. Okay. It's not as if things were going in the absolute right direction. At the same time, when you get to that crossroads, you have to evaluate your franchises from this perspective. The three most important pieces, in my opinion, of an NFL franchise are your quarterback, your GM, and your coach. Those are your three most important pieces. And you have to find the right combination of those three. And Tennessee got to a crossroads where they go, okay, well, we're going to get a new quarterback for sure. We're done with this Will Levis thing. We're done with that. We're going to have to go ahead and we're going to sign our GM and decide on our coach. And they decided, all right, our coach is a problem. And that coach went on to New England, a place that he's incredibly comfortable with. And they've won 14 games in the regular season. They've now won 15 games overall in his first year. And it's one of those things where, man, if I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, I'm looking at Mike Vrabel, bleeding from his bottom lip after hugging a player so hard and being like, damn, that we should be there. We should be having this success. They should have given him the reins like they've given Vrabel in New England. That's got to sting. That's got to be disappointing. And another problem is, and the reason why this was such malpractice from the ownership group of the Tennessee Titans on top of that was you had every single player telling you, we love this guy. We love playing for this dude. He's awesome. He's a great coach. This is so much fun being able to be under him. And yet they said, no, we don't care. We know better. It does not matter that you're in the locker room. It does not matter that, he's leading you. It does not matter that.
I don't know. He seems to want a lot of power. I don't know. Should we give it to him? Yeah. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. No, we know better.
Give him whatever he wants.
We're not the foot. I love it when non-football people think they can make football decisions. I think that is the best thing that can happen to any franchise that isn't the one that I'm rooting for.
You better stay in your lane, football guy.
I love it when non-football people look football people in the eyes and I say, I know better. Because you know what? That's one more team that I don't have to worry about. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. When you're telling me that, all right, these football people, these people who haven't been in the locker room and they haven't been a scout before and they haven't been around the ins and outs, they're the ones deciding, oh, well, off of personality. Some of the greatest coaches and football minds of all time were asses and are asses, okay? They are. Some of these guys are not great people, okay? But you know what? The NFL is not a nice competition. They don't give the Lombardi Trophy to the team that shows the most respect. And that is, that leaves the door open for everybody and shakes everybody's hands. There's a reason why it's the Walter Payton Man of the Year award and not the Lombardi Trophy. Okay. They give out that Lombardi Trophy to the team who can construct the best roster and can coach them up the best. And if you're making decisions solely on personality and not enough on substance, then you're going to find yourself in a problem. So that's what the Tennessee Titans have done. Hopefully they'll figure it out. And they're not the only team in the NFL that's doing that. And frankly, a team that won a playoff game for the first time in 15 years on their home field against their rival decided that, hey, this season, we're not going to allow this place to be run like a mom and pop shop. And we're actually going to hire and pay for a coach that we know can win football games. That's what the Bears did with Ben Johnson. That's why they're going on the divisional round to take on a very good LA Rams team. So we'll talk a little bit more, not too much more. I think that was a good 20-minute segment on the NFL playoffs. Everybody kind of got what they needed to. San Francisco. I will say this. I don't think it's a hot take. Anybody saying that Nick Sirianni should be fired, get out of here. The guy just won a Super Bowl 12 months ago. Okay, he's got one of the highest winning percentages in league history. Okay, I understand that they go through some issues, and it's not like the Eagles have put on a PR masterclass over the last couple of years.
You should probably stop fighting your own players.
Yeah, probably. I think that would
if you need a mobster to follow you around,
why does he have a headset? Answer me that question. Can you actually answer?
I cannot.
Why does Big Dom have a headset on? That
know.
Is something. Okay. See, I didn't have a problem with Big Dom because I looked at Big Dom as I looked at Big Dom as like, look, he's obviously Sirianni's dude. He's obviously one of his best friends. He, clearly brings maybe some value and some sort of calmness, maybe, or some sort of, I don't know, maybe he brings some sort of value to Sirianni, right? So I never mind him being around. Hey, if it's a rallying cry for the fans to get around and he's good in the locker room, okay, whatever. No big deal. Okay. Why does he got a headset on? What is Big Dom contributing on the headset? What is he doing? What great things is Dom saying into the headset that is changing and why does Dom need to know what's going on? Is Dom an advisor now? Is he a football dude now? Because if that's the case, then I would be very concerned. Because once again, I'm not concerned. I love it when non-football people are making football decisions. I think that's great for my team and their future. But I didn't really have a question of, man, what happened to Saquon Barkley this year? It seemed like the wheels really fell off this season in general. I more so was thinking, man, that's not the best look for the Eagles. We'll see what happens with them. I doubt. I think it'd be very foolish if they were to get rid of the coach that has the 5th highest winning percentage in NFL history, regardless of how great of a job Howie Roseman is doing. Alrighty. NFL football done. We are not leaving football in the dust, though. The Huskers made some moves. An old friend has returned to Lincoln, and I think in a very savvy move done by Coach Rule and the staff, we have a new defensive line coach. Woo! Hallelujah. We didn't think it was going to happen. We totally did. We totally did think it was going to happen, but it probably took a little bit too long to happen. But shocking, when you hire a D-line coach, you also get D-line commits. What? What a wild concept that is. And we got a commit from a guy that you've seen play a lot of football, Josh Hodson. So I cannot wait to get your perspective on Nebraska football's new D-line commit, along with other things happening in the portal. We'll talk about all that next year on the first ever show of Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Soul.
Got a loaded show for you. Already talked about Dylan. He's going to Oregon.
A joke? Is that what you said?
No, a loaded show.
Oh, a loaded show.
No.
Those are two different things.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't hear so well. You'll learn that.
An owner of a shoe company, a crazy head coach, and a former 5-star walk into a bar. They tell him, we're going to bring this other former 5-star in so you can sit your ass down and learn how to play quarterback. That's probably what Oregon is angling to do when it comes to Dylan Raiola. Kudos to Oregon for doing that. And I will give a little I mean, like, if it ends up being the case, like, part of the reason why Dylan Raiola didn't go to Georgia, at least was kind of reportedly, is he wanted to play right away, and he didn't really want to sit under Carson Beck, which, I guess kind of made sense. But anyway, I think Oregon definitely angling for Dante Moore to come back and have Dylan Raiola sit down for a year, take a red shirt, hopefully Moore doesn't get hurt for Oregon, and then they'll go ahead and roll out Dylan Raiola in 2027, where he very well could be the starting quarterback of the Oregon Ducks and going to Memorial Stadium in 2027 to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Wouldn't that be a game?
That game just got bigger.
Yeah, potentially got bigger dependent on what happens in Raiola's career. But still, Dylan does have 2 years of eligibility left, and I don't think that they're transferring to Oregon to then eventually transfer somewhere else. We'll go ahead and go to the Equitable Bank inbox. Old man Doug.
That's his inbox. They pick up on the first ring. Did you know that about Equitable Bank? I had heard this. I haven't tested
it. They
also, I believe him.
Take it personally. All right, here
banking,
we go.
That is.
But take banking personally,
not sports.
No, Doug takes his sports really seriously.
Doug, but not the bank as a
not
whole.
the bank. No. You're not gonna sit down at Equitable Bank and they're like, we don't care about your deposit. Give us your take. What's your take?
Dealers polo?
Yeah.
No, your money's no good.
No,
here.
no good here. All righty, we'll go to the Equitable Bank inbox. I'm never gonna be able to say that word. Sorry, Doug. It only took Rule 6 weeks to convince a D-line coach from the MAC to come to Nebraska. That should tell you what the perception of Rule Nebraska football is in coaching circles. John, that is I don't want to say pessimistic way to look at it, but that is a way to look at it. Look, I'm not going to, I'll say this. If you're putting me you got to put me on a line of do you support Matt Rule? Do you not support Matt Rule? Do you think it's going to figure out? Do you think he's going to figure out? Do you not think he's going to figure it out? I would probably put myself on the more leaning toward the he'll figure it out side. I'm moderate and leaning left, if you will, Josh Hodson. I
thought we weren't talking politics.
No. We're talking about Matt Rule, which honestly is if we're trying to do a crash course in politics, Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers actually would not be that bad of an elementary education into a very soft world of how to politic. But I would probably lean more into I think he'll figure it out. Now, I think that that's relative, right? What is figuring it out? I don't think figuring it out is winning a national championship. I think that is an incredibly, incredibly high bar for anyone to clear, let alone Nebraska. I think
good take, Matt.
I think figuring it out is Nebraska just consistently being respected and being in the conversation of getting to the college football playoff. I know that some people might roll their eyes when they say this, but I think what Iowa has built of them consistently being in the 8 to 10 win range year in and year out, and then hoping one year you get a really good recruiting class and you find lightning in the bottle and you go ahead and make a playoff run. I think that is kind of where Nebraska is at too. And that's for a variety of reasons. Resources have to do with that. Money has to do with that. Where Nebraska is positioned in the country in terms of where talent is has to do with that as well. We will hit on all those points throughout the entirety of Middays with Matt, not just in a show. But all of this to say, reading John's email, right? I'll read it again. John says it only took 6 weeks to convince a D-line coach from the MAC to come to Nebraska. That should tell you what the perception of Rule and Nebraska football is in coaching circles. Obviously, John is leaning toward the right in terms of being out on Rule and not believing that he's going to figure things out. And to those people who think that way, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't blame you. like if you're kind of out on Matt Rule and you don't think he's going to figure it out, frankly, we've had more evidence that is going to happen as opposed to the former. We've had more evidence that this probably isn't going to go the way that you want it to go through 3 years of him being at the head of this program than the other way around, right? Year one, they were going through a lot of things to rebuild this program on the field and off the field as well. I mean, they had to strip the program down to the studs from an operational perspective. And so, and also too, they made a really bad coaching decision in getting Jeff Sims to be on the roster. But you kind of throw that year away a little bit. They were battling through a lot. Year two, that was disappointing. Like once again, you left a lot of meat on the bone of year two, and you could have had way more momentum heading into year three, which this entire time has been the year that everybody locally and nationally marked on the calendar as your year to break out. And you didn't. And then now year four, you're once again 7-6 after having a very manageable schedule in year three, and not taking advantage of it. A schedule that anybody would dream of having in this college football playoff era, where you get to avoid Oregon and Ohio State. Oh my God. How? Like you really, and the games that you did play against the top teams in the conference, you played at home. USC game, the Michigan games, they're at home. They lucked into a beautiful schedule to take advantage of, and they didn't. And so if you're looking at all of that way, like from that perspective, yeah, I really like, if you're like, man, I don't think he's going to figure out, there's not really a whole lot that I can tell you other than, yeah, you probably have more evidence, than that it's not going to work out than it is. I think I still have a belief that they can develop players the way that they did at Baylor and Temple. And I believe that a little bit more now than I did in the beginning, just because they were hiring guys to build the culture. They weren't necessarily trying to figure out the things I'm not saying I agree with this, though. This is just how I'm looking at it. I think they were more worried about how are we going to operate internally within the building opposed to how are we going to operate on the field. I think they believed that they needed to figure out the internal things first and how they were going to operate as a program before they were like, all right, let's put the best product we can on the field. Indiana has kind of done the opposite. Indiana just walked in and said, no, we're going to be the best team we possibly can. We are going to go and we are going to get the best players. We're going to use our evaluations. We're going to use our player development, and we're just going to go and win.
What if we were just a wagon?
Yeah. What if we were just good at football? And, I think that to each their own, we all know which side we would rather be on. So I still think, and I like some of the hires that they've made. Now let's talk about this hire specifically with Corey Brown. It's one of those things. Yes, John, who is on more the negative perspective of Matt Rule isn't going to figure it out, goes, wow, he hired a coach from the MAC. I don't think that's, an ill-mannered response. I will say this, though, Miami of Ohio was top 15 in the country in sack percentage this year. 8.44% of the dropbacks, they were able to sack the quarterback. That's 15th in the nation. When it comes to rushing yards a game, they were in the top half. The rushing yards game, they gave up 140 yards a game. That's 46 in the country. They only gave up 3.9 yards per rush. If you can keep your opponent under 4 yards per rush, you're going to be cooking with peanut oil. And they were able to do that. And so I also like to, he coached with Rob Orch for 2 years. In those 2 years at South Dakota State that they coached together, their D-line got a total of 52 sacks over 2 seasons. That's 26 sacks, average season. Pretty damn good. We'll take that in a heartbeat. So I think that, yeah, you can look at this from the perspective of, they hired a MAC defensive line coach. You go ahead and you look at what this guy's been able to accomplish. Corey Brown's been able to accomplish. Yeah, it's a familiarity hire. He has a lot of familiarity with Rob Orch, which I think is important, but it's not like you're hiring a guy that's been a bum for the last couple of years at his position. This is a dude that, played at Iowa for 5 seasons. From 1995 to 1999. He's been at Notre Dame. He's been across the block. He was at, 3 years at Iowa Western.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Like,
that happened.
Like, they hired a former Iowa Western coach. Like, they've gone, this guy, it's not as if you're hiring, and I know he always gets strays, but it's not like you're hiring Garrett McGuire and you see a lot of potential, and you're crossing your fingers that he's going to be able to figure out an incredibly important position that you've invested a lot in. You're hiring a guy that's coached a lot of football, that's got some pelts on the wall, that's been able to develop dudes to be all conference level type players, and who's been around football for the last 30 years from a player perspective and a coaching perspective. You like that he knows Rob, and that's good. And you got to have that camaraderie, because they did not have that camaraderie, within the defensive coaching staff last season. And I think that was part of, look, when you go ahead and you admit that you were kind of forcing a system on a coach that didn't want to coach that system, what are we doing? And when you are a coach rooted in player development, and you've always said, don't tell me, that the players can't do something, and then your DC goes ahead into a microphone and says, we have to get better players, right? There's a major disconnect there. And I think that it's no secret that disconnect probably helped contribute to just the absolute terrible performances that they had against Penn State and Iowa. So I think that's important. But, the people who are just out on everything that Matt Rule does, I'll just say this, I still think that you can look at things objectively and say, hey, that was a good decision. We'll see if those decisions come to life, right? And we'll see if they end up, presenting themselves on the field, because we have said multiple times now, yeah, that's a really good decision, and we don't see it on the field, unfortunately. And that's been the biggest problem for Nebraska football. But I think that this is a really, really good hire. This is a guy that he's got college experience, he knows how to coach college players. Miami of Ohio had a good D-line, not a great D-line, but they had a good D-line last year. And it's somebody that has familiarity toward the guy that you hired to be your defensive coordinator. I think this is positive. Do I think that this is, do I think Corey Brown's wins above replacement is 1.5? Do I think that he singularly is going to change the trajectory of this Nebraska football defense? I mean, it's hard to tell now, but I do think that with this 4-2-5 with 4 down front, you're going to see players be in more advantageous positions to succeed, and you're bringing in a coach at the defensive line position that's been around the block. It's not like he's never had a room before. It's not like his coaching experience comes from the NFL. No, this is a college football D-line coach that is in tune with what the defensive coordinator wants, that has coached with the defensive coordinator before, that has developed players to become better D-line. I don't know why it took Matt Rule this long to make those types of hires. Okay. I don't get it. I don't understand why he did not decide, hey, we're just going to go and use this big coaching budget to make sure that we can get the highest quality coaches that are going to develop our guys, because we're a player development program. I don't know why that wasn't the attitude at first. I'm glad it's the attitude now. And if Nebraska football is going to win games, they have to have good player development coaches in the trenches. Okay? Was this the home run Elijah Robinson hire that you were hoping for? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Is it bad? No. Would I have lost my crap if they hired another guy from the NFL who didn't have experience coaching the college football D-line? You bet your ass I would have. You bet your ass. I'm glad that they actually decided we're going to go and get a guy who's got experience doing this stuff, who's contributed to developing good D-lines. And then, we're going to make sure he's got familiarity with our DC, and we're going to let the chips fall where they may. So that's how you view it. And I don't think it necessarily moves the needle, but it doesn't give me any less hope about what this team needs to do heading in to next season. We're going to talk about somebody that they added on the D-line as a player coming up in a couple of segments. The Golden Globes were yesterday. I want to touch quickly on something about that, because I did have a thought after having the Golden Globes muted.
You have a Globes thought.
I have a Globes thought.
Wait, you had the Globes muted.
Here's
so
what
you
happened.
had the sound on the game?
I had the sound on the game. And
you could watch football with the mute on.
So I had the game on and the Globes muted. But when somebody won that I liked, I would then move over.
Okay, you were still monitoring.
Yeah, I don't
closely.
need. I'm going to be real with you. I don't need the set design guy.
Sure.
And I don't need the
completely
animator.
Valid take.
I don't need to hear from the animator of Zootopia. No offense to you. I'm not really interested.
It was K-pop Demon Hunters that won Best Animated Movie.
That's fine. I don't need to hear about it. Okay. Now, when Chalamet goes on, hell yeah, I want to hear him. And that's who we're going to talk about. We also, Nebraska basketball, we are waiting anxiously to see where they will be ranked in the next AP poll. We will also talk about Creighton basketball. We are going to do the odd news at some point. Whoa. And Robin Washington will be on at 1:20 here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
For 75 years, Skradsky Heating and Cooling has delivered comfort and peace of mind to Omaha families. As a family-owned business, we take pride in treating your home like our own. Whether it's a quick repair, a new system installation, or regular maintenance, you can trust our team to keep you comfortable all year. Celebrate our 75th year with us and experience service that stood the test of time. Call Skradsky Heating and Cooling or visit heatomaha.com.
Hey, it's Happer here for Underdog Fantasy. And yes, the football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. You can make picks and win money, as always, right now in Nebraska. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower in stat categories like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get those right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. And it's the postseason, so you're going to have the opportunity to get dialed in on these hires or lowers. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Promo code HAPPER1620. Underdog. Make
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. We've had a phenomenal first 2 hours of the show. You can go back to our podcast feed, get some radio replays of everything that we've talked about. We've talked about the Dylan Raiola situation, him going to Oregon. We've touched on the hiring of Corey Brown. Pretty good hire. Not necessarily hit it out of the park, but, you're happy about some of the production.
What's wrong with a stand-up double?
Yeah. It's I think they slid. I think they slid in.
Okay.
I think there was a relay.
You're on second. Who the hell cares?
Yeah. It's one of those things where it wasn't a hustle double, but if there was a trip and a fall, which there might be, considering the fact that, it's not like you're hiring a very well-renowned coach from the Power Five. There could be a slip and a fall. He might be out at second. You still got to put a little mustard into yourself rounding the bases, but it was a fine hire. We are waiting for the AP poll for college basketball to drop.
Release it, cowards.
And see where Nebraska basketball was ranked, and we will properly or improperly react to where they will be placed. I guess you should care a little bit more about where the Huskers are, like, in the net ranking, probably, because I don't think the NCAA tournament is really looking at the AP poll as, hey, this is what we're going to go by, right? The AP poll is a lot of opinionated voting from maybe even voters who haven't seen Nebraska basketball play a ton of basketball, but regardless, they're undefeated, 16-0 after a gutsy win against Indiana. So we are anxious to see where they end up. We'll talk about the Jays at some point too. They had a tough defeat to St. John's. We might touch a little bit more on the NFL. Don't forget Robin Washut at 1:20. And then on top of that, we will have the odd news at some point. I'm just going to tell Josh when we're going to do it. And then we're going to do it. And we'll do the odd news. It'll be my first time. That we are definitely winning in our Connor Happer Show divorce court crossover tomorrow, without a doubt.
Kind of looking forward to that.
I am too. You and I have to get together and we have to talk about
what do we want?
What do we want? What is important to us? We actually have to go through the drops and be like, we cannot lose this drop, like this one.
Because I spit hot fire.
This is, I'll be using that.
Someone's going to spit hot fire and we're going to want that.
How about this? Now this one
that's Connor's first draft pick right there.
This one is gonna be tough to get as well.
I want to kill myself, jump in the cold and die of frostbite.
Anything really that has to do with Gus is gonna be a tough one.
Mendoza in trouble. It's out. Touchdown!
Like that's tough. But that one's ours. We are keeping that. That one ain't going anywhere.
That one's for the station.
I was jealous last night watching the Golden Globes.
Okay, who are you jealous of?
Who do you think I was jealous of?
Wow. Leo and his girlfriend, who's probably your age.
No. I actually think I'm younger than her. Leo I actually did kind of discover that we really don't know that much.
He doesn't want you to know anything about him.
Yeah. Other than that, he likes young women, and he likes to date
women who are of age but are young.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I wasn't saying that Leonardo DiCaprio was a predator. He'd probably be on a list if that was the case. That was, we actually will never know if he was on the list or anyone.
Heavily redacted list.
A heavily redacted list. Nikki Glaser, by the way, was great.
She's very good at that.
She's awesome at those award shows. I'm jealous of Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Why is he so cool? Why is he he loves pro wrestling?
He does.
He
really weird.
He loves college football. Okay, he's very good at picking college football winners and losers.
He showed up on game day that one time and we were all like, what's this pretty boy know about ball?
He
turns out a lot.
He actually picked the winners and losers better than people who are paid gobs and gobs of money to go ahead and pick winners and losers. He has now kind of taken Spike Lee's spot.
Yeah, he's like the Knicks fan.
As being the Knicks guy. And then he's also dating, what a beautiful woman.
One of them Jenner girls. I don't know which
Kylie, you know exactly which Jenner.
Is she the billionaire?
Yes. Well,
no,
the quote self-made. That's a joke.
I'll quibble with that wording.
Yeah, no quibble about it. She ain't self-made. She was already famous before she made her designer makeup brand or whatever. That's probably
but
way
she's
overpriced.
the makeup one, right?
Yeah, she is the makeup one. The other one actually is somewhat talented and does model
That's
work.
the Pepsi one.
Yes, she solved racism and protesting
That's
with
right.
a bottle of Pepsi.
I'm glad someone did. It's a complicated issue.
It is a complicated issue. The Pepsi or racism?
Both.
Okay. What's complicated about Pepsi?
What's it doing?
Yeah.
Why does it exist?
And then Kim, we know why she's famous.
I saw it.
Yep. So did I. Probably at too young of an age.
Oh.
And then Chloe and Courtney, I think they were just on the show. Well, what? Chloe dated Lamar Odom when Lamar Odom was actually putting 14 and 10 together on a weekly basis
That's right.
for the LA Lakers. I'll never forget that one episode when they thought that Lamar was going to be an all-star and he wasn't. It was a big drama thing. I was like,
very special, keeping up with the Kardashians.
Well, it was like you just know that none of these people watching the show are a ball knower enough to know that Lamar Odom is like the fourth best player on the Lakers and would never be an all-star. But all that to say, I am jealous of Timothy Chalamet because you can't have everything. You cannot be a wildly talented actor, but also a very respectable young man, who is unapologetic about how great he wants to be, but then goes ahead and actually is great. And then on top of that, loves rap and pizza and New York and music and wrestling. And why is Timothy Chalamet a guy that I would have played Black Ops 2 on Xbox with? That's unfair. You cannot be the Mountain Dew Doritos eating kid that I was, but at the same time put on incredible performance after incredible performance and date one of the more successful and beautiful women in Hollywood. You cannot have both.
I am glad you brought that particular aspect of it up because he is very much this sort of golden boy prodigy.
Yes.
And he treats this like a sport.
He does.
Where most artists or whatever, they come to these award shows and they're like, why put actors in competition with each other? Why,
I know.
It's just an honor to be nominated. I'm just glad to be here. What a night. What a night. And no, he's like, no, I'm
the guy.
If you say I'm the golden boy prodigy, I have to win this.
Yeah.
I'm here to win this.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said it when he won his first quarter. He's like, no one wants to say it anymore, but I'll say it. I want to be one of the greats. And
nobody says that in acting.
No, nobody says that, but he says it and now he does it. Marty Supreme came out 2 weeks ago and we were all like, holy crap. We gotta give this guy the Oscar. It was nice to see The Rock there. That's the only reason why he made the Smashing Machine, so they could sit him next to Kevin Hart and put him at that table. Good to see that happen. Also, too, Dune 3 is going to be great. Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet, wasn't he in We Bought a Zoo as well? He was the kid in We Bought a Zoo, I'm pretty sure. He was great in that movie. He was awesome in Little Women. Everybody knows how much I love Little Women.
That's right, you do.
I just cannot believe.
A lot of people are getting to know you today, though.
I just can't.
You need to refresh these, pillar takes of yours.
I just can't believe that, Timothy Chalamet would go to acting class and then come back and watch JBL versus John Cena at Backlash in 2006. That's not a world that I can fathom. I can't believe the man who's probably going to win the Oscar for Best Actor has a take on whether or not Chris Masters should have been pushed more in the world wrestling entertainment. And then on top of that, knew exactly what type of attachments he wanted on his scar in Black Ops 2. It's unfair. It's unfair. It's unfair that he's that great. And then I don't care what you say. I don't care how she did it. Kylie Jenner's a very good looking woman. All right, here we go.
Good take, Matt.
12 o'clock typically is the time where they release the college basketball AP poll. We'll be on pins and needles to see where the best story in college basketball is ranked. We're talking about Nebraska, Cornhuskers, and Fred Hoiberg and the gang that doesn't have a lottery pick, and it shouldn't matter. Up next on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Shout out to
Shout out. Oh, we doing shout out?
we could do a segment where we do shout outs. The world is our oyster at this point, you know? Like we can do whatever we can do what we want
oysters.
to. I love oysters. That is something. It is crazy that I am in the only triple locked state in the country, and I eat so much seafood.
You've been on a seafood kick.
I'm always on a seafood kick. I love seafood. I love sushi. I went to Shucks. I go to Shucks every Friday. That's my new thing. Go to Shucks every Friday.
Well, it's about to be very crowded there on Fridays.
Shout out Shay. She's the best.
Shout out Shay.
They gave me because I went there in December, and they give you a little envelope that says open up in January and you get a free thing.
Whoa.
It's done already. Like they already handed out all the envelopes. But like the winner, like the grand prizes, you get like a meal for two, I think once a week for the whole year at Shucks. I think it's something like that, which is crazy. I ended up getting a free app, and I got my oysters for free. So they were phenomenal.
It's really true what they say. Once you can afford it, you don't have to.
What do you I don't know what that means.
It means once you become rich and famous, people will give you things.
You know, people ask me like, hey, because look, I was a cheap college student that was making $12.50 an hour over a KLIN in Lincoln, working a part-time job. Okay. Like a night out was expensive. Okay. Like we had to go and get, the $10. You can get 18 Miller High Lifes for $9 over at the Canopy Street Market in Lincoln. Okay. Whoa. Not a lot of people knew about it. Okay. People would go to like Mum's or like N Street Liquor or some places like that. I went to Canopy. It wasn't a liquor store, but it had a really good selection. And so I would get the 18 Miller High Lifes, and we would have to, we would drink a lot of them because I'm like, I ain't buying 4 Long Island iced teas at Iggy's. Okay. I'm not getting, an $8 Slinky at the bar. Okay. Now that I have salary and I work a full-time job, people go like, where do you spend your money? I go, I eat good now. The reason why I've gained weight is because I don't have to eat like a mouse anymore. I can actually like feed my body and give its nutrition. Okay. That's where my money goes.
You're not working games for $50, but the real reason you're doing it is for the hot dog.
It really is. Game. I'm going to be real with you. Papillion La Vista had a hell of a hot dog all year long. It was great. Every time we went to Papio.
The city?
No, the stadium.
Werner?
No, not Werner. It was I think it was free.
Oh, the high school.
Yeah, the high school.
The high school.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. That field, the high school field, where we would announce Papio South. Who shout out Papio South? They finished in second place in the Class A state playoffs.
Go Titans!
Yeah, they were great. Hell of a job.
Someone had to finish second.
Someone did have to finish second, and they had a hell of a year, and they had 2 really good quarterbacks all year long.
2?
2, yeah. They would use them in like dual packages and whatnot. It was sick. They were great. Anyway, had a hell of a hot dog. All right, I have news. The AP poll. The AP poll's out.
AP poll's out.
The
Great.
AP poll is out.
Tell me where Creighton is ranked.
Okay. That is mean. All right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Creighton is not in the AP top 25 poll, Josh. You
what?
know better than that. You know better than that.
I demand a recount.
You know better than that.
Travis Schumachery.
Oh, why can't I? Wait, you didn't put the board on. I was going to honk.
Oh.
Honk. I always want to honk. I'm always looking. No.
We be honking.
They are not. Now, I looked this morning. Creighton was, and yes, it's Creighton. I'm trying my best.
I was just about to say something.
I'm doing better at it.
It's interesting that you're pronouncing that T because so many people say you don't pronounce the T.
Well, sometimes I forget to, and it sounds Creighton. People get mad at me. So it's Creighton. They
Matt.
No one cares.
You look. Sometimes the audience can provide constructive criticism.
They can, and I.
That's not one instance,
dude. The amount of constructive criticism emails that I've gotten, even dating back to, I don't want to say dating back, it was 3 days ago when I was on the Gary and Matt show. I would get a lot of emails of people genuinely trying to help me and genuinely giving me tips and whatnot on how to be better. And I always appreciated it. So, but they were 41st in the net before their loss to St. John's. They had an opportunity if they won that St. John's game to be a top 35 team in the net, which funny enough would have given Nebraska another quad 1 victory. Okay. Nebraska has 5 Q1 victories. If Creighton had beaten St. John's, they probably would have been top 35, which would have given Nebraska another Q1. They did not. Creighton, though, not in the AP poll, but 47th in the net ranking. They move down 6 spots after their 17-point defeat. We will talk about that later in the show. But Nebraska men's basketball. I will read you the top 10. Okay?
Top 10. Okay.
Arizona, undefeated, number 1 in the country, no surprise. Iowa State, undefeated, number 2. UConn moves up 1 spot from number 4 to number 3 after defeating Paul 72-60 earlier in the week because Michigan lost to Wisconsin at home.
One of those weird guy gets hot games.
Yes,
right? I didn't watch any of it. I just
that and they were controlling that game for a lot of the first half, and then just Wisconsin. Look, Wisconsin scored 91 points on Michigan. Wow. All right. I mean, we're talking about a Michigan team that had went, I think it was 7 weeks without winning, or with Michigan went 7 straight weeks winning every single game by 18 or more points. It was
That's
wild.
a lot of points.
But they go ahead. They went on the road to Penn State, and people were like, "Oh, that was kind of weird." They only win that game by 2 against a bad Penn State.
It's very sleepy there.
It's hard to do. Talk about a bring your own juice game. It's
Yeah.
almost like more of an advantage for Penn State than it is a disadvantage that nobody gives a rat's ass
We're gonna
about basketball.
bore the hell out of you.
Seriously,
for 40
we,
minutes.
We are not going to allow you to feed off of our crowd.
You've heard of 40 minutes of hell?
Yeah,
This is the
40
exact
minutes of
opposite.
boredom.
Yeah.
So Michigan only moves down 2 spots after losing to a Wisconsin team. Kind of surprising. I thought maybe they'd move a little bit lower, but granted, they've garnered a ton of respect after what they've done in the first 15 games of the year, regardless of losing, albeit a very close game against a Wisconsin team that isn't bad, but isn't great. Okay. So they lose to Wisconsin at home. Baffling loss. Purdue is 6 at 5. So does Duke at 6. Houston stays at 7. And right behind Houston, the Nebraska Corn Huskers, 16-0 after their 83-77 victory, are ranked 8th in the country.
Ocho!
They are 8th. 85, always open on game day, coach. And the Huskers have opened the door to being a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they were projected to be that before they ended up playing Indiana in, man, let's do it. We've been waiting to talk about Nebraska basketball all day. First off, Kevin Kugler, awesome on the call for Nebraska.
Cougs
Called it at the very end of the game, said they are the best story in college basketball.
Hello.
They went on the road to Assembly Hall. Not an easy place to play. Against a good Indiana team. Indiana team that's got one of the best players in the conference in Tucker DeVries, one of the best players in the country in Tucker DeVries, and a coach. Let me tell you something right now. Coach Darren DeVries knows how to beat Nebraska. Okay, Coach Darren DeVries knows how to put together a game plan that defeats the Huskers. He's done it before when he was at Creighton. Okay, they were down 16, and much like on the road against Illinois, this team put on a Rocky Balboa performance that you just really don't see from too many teams in the country, right? Down 16, big run from Indiana. The crowd is into it. Top 10 matchup. Hoosier basketball has not been anything like that fan base has wanted it to be. They're clamoring for a big, big win from their new head coach and their new roster. And this was a golden opportunity for Indiana to accomplish that. And they're up 16, and Nebraska says, don't care. Don't care. Takes every shot to the mouth, every liver shot to the body. It did not. They just came back. And, man, talk about guys in some buildings. Marcus Lawrence, what a performance by him. When the Huskers, look, Rick Mass did not make a three-pointer until his final three-point attempt of the game, which was a big one indeed. But Jamarcus's performance single-handedly kept Nebraska basketball afloat when they just could not find a whole lot from their top guys on offense. And then Braden Frager, man, I did not think at the beginning of the year that we would get a John Rothstein tweet about Braden Frager. There's a lot of things that I did not think that we would get when it came to Nebraska basketball this season that we are getting. One of those things being an undefeated start to the season. Man, I know that the book on Frager coming into his career was, he got off to a bit of a rough start. He didn't necessarily have everything together. He was young. He was a little immature. There was a reason why they had to redshirt him. Man, if we're just talking from a basketball perspective, he's a dog. He's a player. He's got it. He's got the height. He's got the shot. He's got the ability to slash to the basket. Man, his step back threes are beautiful. They're crisp. It's something that, not a ton of guys in college basketball can just on the right wing, 2 dribbles, plant with your left foot, bring it back, launch up that shot and can consistently make it. He can. He's fearless. I mean, it still boggles my mind that on a team that has a 7-year player and Price Sanford, Rick Masters is a 7-year player, but Price Sanford's played a lot of Big Ten basketball. Sam Hoiberg's played a lot of Big Ten basketball. Jamarcus Lawrence has played a ton of basketball. Out of all the guys who have so much experience on this Nebraska basketball team, the fact that Fred Hoiberg in that Michigan State game said, all right, young fella, we're going to give you the ball. We're going to give Braden Frager the ball. And we're going to let you, make a big bucket here. I think that spoke volumes. And it happened again against Indiana. And he made big shot after big shot. And it's just, I think the story of this team is a couple of things. I think there are a couple of factors that come into when we talk about this team and how we evaluate this team. First off, this is one of those things where I understand that you're like, okay, they have a ton of shooting. Rink can shoot. Frager can shoot. Sanford can shoot. Lawrence and Hoiberg, not necessarily these massive level, high, 3-point shooters, but we've seen them make threes this year. But this is not a shooting team. This is not an offensive team. This is a defensive team. Nebraska basketball is a defensive juggernaut. They are giving up 66 points per game. That's top 25 in the country. Their opponent average scoring margin, top 25 in the country. Okay? Opponents are shooting 46% effective field goal percentage, which is like the advanced analytic I love so much. That's 31st in the country. Okay? Just opponent shooting percentage in general, right? Just the general opponent shooting percentage, 38%, 6th in the country. You go ahead and you watch them play against Ohio State, and you watch them play against Michigan State, and you watch them play against Indiana. The doubles on the baseline, the switching out, the rotations, their ability to contest shots. It's almost as if when you get to the paint, I'm head up on a defender, and I turn to my left, and I'm like, oh my God, there's Frank Mask. Oh my God, there's Bear K. Butenjow. Oh my God, here's another defender. This team just is so locked in. They communicate so well. They understand where they need to be on the defensive end. And, oh, by the way, yeah, they're 45th in the country in effective field goal percentage. They're scoring 80 points per game. Like they can play good. They can play some offense. Like they're shooting, not great from 3. They're only 35% from 3, but they're 60% from 2. Their average shooting percentage is 47%. This is a team that, yeah, they're a defensive team. Like that's the common saying, man. The reason why I did not think last year Nebraska basketball, went on some winning streaks. They went on some runs. I want to remind people they beat UCLA. They beat Oregon. They had some pretty damn big wins against some good teams last year in the Big Ten Conference. They beat multiple NCAA tournament teams last season. But the reason why those runs, were just runs and not the makeup of the team is because, man, shooting is weird. Basketball is weird.
Basketball is weird.
It
Maybe
is.
Your best take.
Yes, basketball is just weird. Well, you can be a good shooting team, but man, they're just going to come out and you're going to miss everything. And it's just not going to be your night. But do you know what does travel? Defense. Do you know what does travel? Experience. Do you know what does travel? Culture. That's what they have. They have the perfect combination of we're going to play really good defense. We have guys who have played hundreds of college basketball games. We have guys who have been in so many close games, late game situations that can hearken back to their experience and understand we're not going to panic. We're not going to wilter. We're not going to shake. We're going to stand in the face of adversity and be as fearless as we possibly can and trust in our skills to go ahead and be the great basketball team we can be. And they are a great basketball team. They are. You cannot tell me otherwise, okay? And the only reason why anybody would be able to tell me otherwise is because they don't have a lottery pick. You know, they don't have that top. They don't have a Cam Boozer. You know, they don't have the Bennett Sturts. They don't have the Tucker DeVries. They don't have a Yaxel Lendenberg. You know, they don't have that top guy where everybody's, oh my God. They don't have a Darren Peterson where you're like, this guy's going to go to the NBA. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you a story about Steve Peichel and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They had 2 lottery picks last year. I had one of the best players in the Big Ten, Dylan Harper. Okay, they had 2 of those dudes where we're all clamoring over. They were ranked in the top 25 to begin the season. They didn't make the NCAA tournament. They were one of the worst in the Big Ten. Okay. College basketball is one of those things where it's, you don't necessarily need to have a top 60 pick in the NBA draft to go ahead and be successful. And this team has been doubted over and over again by people who claim to be college basketball experts because of their lack of that type of star power. Let me tell you something right now. It hasn't mattered one iota. They walked into a building that not a lot of people went in, and they beat the Illinois Illini. They took on a Michigan State team that they do not match up well with. It's hard for Nebraska to match up because of the size and the physicality of Michigan State, and they beat them. They went on a road in a tough place to play at Assembly Hall against a good Indiana team with a ton of energy and a lot of momentum, and they beat them, and they were down 16. There are so many teams in the country that go ahead and they roll over in those games. They go, okay, you know what? 15-0 was a hell of a start. 15-1 is still great. We'll still be ranked in the top 15. We'll still be on the inside track to get a top 5 seed. You know, we're going to be fine. We play Oregon in a couple of days. It's all going to work itself out. Yeah. Well, I'm saying at the time. They would have said, hey, we play Oregon in a couple of days. Yeah. Nope. They just made shots. They made shots. They got their rebounds. They played good defense, and they figured it out, man. And this is just, it is such a well-constructed roster with really everything that you need to win in the Big Ten. You got experience, you have defense, you have shooting, and this team is not dependent on one player for offense. Rink Mass can have a bad night. Nebraska can beat a top team in the Big Ten. Price Sanford can have a bad night, and they can beat a top team in the Big Ten. You have guys who you just have a well-built constructed roster that can pick each other up. And hey, Sanford, Rink doesn't have it tonight. Rink's going to go 1 of 7 from 3. He's going to miss some shots that you are so used to him making. It doesn't matter. We got this guy named Jamarcus Lawrence who went to the University of Rhode Island feeder program to get a little bit more minutes, more experience. Yeah, we brought him back this year. He's just going to drop a cool 27 points on 8 of 13 shooting and make 5 threes. No big deal. No, Price Sanford's only going to have 12 points. Don't worry. We got this kid who reclassified last year and took a red shirt, so this is kind of like his freshman season. He's going to have 11 points to make some of the bigger baskets toward the end of the game. No big deal.
Now everybody's asking themselves, what kind of insight can Matt McMaster give us into Saturday's game at Northwestern?
Northwestern's bad. That's my insight. Northwestern, I was talking to a good friend, Jacob Bigelow, about the Northwestern basketball team.
I know him.
And I told Jacob is more of a college basketball sicko than I am. Jacob, who's in the chat, shout out. Thanks, Jake.
Hi, Biggie.
Love Bigs. So I told, so Jacob sat down. By the way, the Cats over the last 5 years have not been the Cats. Like Chris Collins has actually put together a very well-constructed basketball program that can be very competitive, not just on a Big Ten level, but on a national level. I mean, they won 2 NCAA tournament games, for goodness sakes. They are back to being the Cats. Yeah, they They're young.
So that's a negative.
They're
Okay.
they're back to being they're going to
You don't want to be the Cats.
Yeah, they choke. They gave up big leads late in the game. They don't really know how to put it all together.
So does Indiana.
Yeah. Nick Martinelli is averaging like 23 points per game. I think he's still top 5 in the country, but they can't give it to him at the end of the game in crunch time because he's a really bad ball handler. So it's just you can't. And teams already know that they're going to give it to Nick Martinelli, so they cover him up pretty well. Yeah, so the insight on the Cats is Nebraska should win that game handily, just as long as they guard Martinelli. So that's the insight. The insight that I'll give on the Oregon game, that'll come tomorrow on the second show of Middays.
What a broadcast
with Matt.
tease.
I'm such a tease. You can ask the women at Alderman's. We'll go ahead and we will talk more basketball later in the show with Robin Washit. Then we'll touch on the Creighton Blue Jays. We still have to talk about Nebraska's new addition at the defensive line, Andy Berber. Dang it, Josh. Berberia.
Try again.
Say it.
Berberia.
Damn it. Andy Berberia.
If that's the worst thing that happens to you today, you're doing great, man.
I think we're going to talk a lot about Berberia because I think it was a really good ad, especially for the 4-2-1. And we'll go ahead and talk about why you shouldn't freak out that this guy isn't 6'5", 330 pounds. Okay. I know that there are some people who's like, oh, he's 6'2". He's not that wide. I'll learn you. I'll learn you some things. We're going to get better together. That's what this show is all about. Email me at 1620thezone, Matt at 1620thezone. Call the show, 429-551-1620, if you have thoughts on the Huskers, on the Blue Jays, on the Omaha Mavericks, whoever it might be, on the NFL. Call us, tweet at us. There's been so many tweets. We'll go ahead and we'll read a couple of them. But coming up next, the first edition of the Odd News on Middays with Matt. Make room for Daddy!
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
You ready to do this?
Dude, somebody who's just been a listener to this show, I did tell Connor Happer this. Out of my power rankings of, because I'm a radio honk, I told the story to you guys, I think, over the weekend that like I would get in trouble in high school for listening to radio shows.
Honk, honk.
I was all
Honk, honk.
for the Connor Happer show. And so to be now a part of this, to get this into the divorce court, which hasn't been settled, but there's no way the odd news of Odd Son is going to go to Mike Schaefer. That ain't going to happen. I am so excited to do this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. It's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. Everybody, it's going to be fine. Going to be fine. Shout out Alex, by the way. He's talking about the Culver's Cod sandwich, one of the most slept on sandwiches in the fast food game. All right, Josh Hodgson, let's read the odd news.
We go to Harrisburg, PA for
Okay.
story number 1 this
Okay.
weekend. The National Mullet Championships. This is a story that we do every year, Matt.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's a couple of the Toy Hall of Fame in November. We'll do a couple stories on that.
Sure.
There's certain benchmarks within this benchmark, and you'll learn as we,
I'll
as we
learn.
go.
I'll learn.
The short in the front, long in the back. Coiffure, once the province of Canadian hockey players and hair metal bands, drew competitors in the dozens over the weekend to, as I said, Harrisburg, PA. Ben Barley, 7 years old, of Red Lion, Pennsylvania, arrived to the event with his parents.
Whoa.
That's right. There's a children's division.
Whoa. All right.
With his parents 2 hours ahead of the event, wearing a T-shirt featuring his names and the word Mullet Life 6'7".
Yes. Nice.
Though mullets have been around longer than there have been barbers, the Oxford English Dictionary
All right.
cites hip-hop legends the Beastie Boys for helping popularize the term mullet with the song Mullet Head in their 1994. Now, I'm just reading the article here. It says, recording ill communication. I don't know anyone who calls it a recording, except the fine folks at the Associated Press. So I thought there'd be some winners in here.
I'm going to be real. So I'm looking at our very darling baby boy, Ben Barley, a 7-year-old first grader from Red Lion, PA, who was in this picture waiting with his father for the start of the mullet judging contest. Not only is Ben a cute little kid who's rocking what a mullet. Now, I would like a little bit more business in the front, if we're being honest, for young Ben's mullet. I think that maybe they should have permed it up a little bit, maybe curled his head, because he's got some bangs rocking. Let me tell you this right now, though. That party in the back, that's a party I would go to. All right, that's a top-notch party. Okay, there's
a lot of bush
party.
lights at that party.
A lot of Miller High Lifes bought at the Canopy Street Market for $10 to get 18 beers. That's a hell of a party. I also want to mention too, our young Ben Barley here is a redhead. So kudos to him.
Yeah.
To be not only to have the chutzpah to rock the mullet, but then to be a soulless ginger and do that on top of that is incredible. I'm making jokes. I love gingers everywhere. My only girlfriend ever was a ginger. So there you go. Shout out me. Known ally of gingers.
Hold on.
A lot to unpack there.
Your only girlfriend ever?
I've only had one, yeah. Only had one.
Matt, I did not know this about you.
I had one girlfriend for 6 months senior year of high school.
This is our first. I think this is our first revelation on Middays with Matt.
I had one girl. Her name's Nora. She was a great girlfriend.
Okay.
Learned a lot of things about each other.
We always learn about ourselves in that first relationship.
And then she gave me an old ultimatum: me or college. And I go. This ain't Jack and Diane, honey. I will see.
Or college.
Like you either go to college and you date me long distance and we figure it out, or you break up with me right now. And I go, see you later. Hope everything will work out for you. And then that was kind of like a divorce. That was crazy.
Who got?
I got the
drums?
kids. I got the kids, but she got the house. And that actually did happen. We had mutual friends. They came to my side, but she had the party house. She had the house that we partied at all the time. We lost our party house.
Had to find a new party house.
We did. It became mine.
Aha.
It became my backyard, actually. So wonder how Nora's doing these days. Yeah, I think she's got a boyfriend now. So good for her. She figured that out quicker than I did.
Hello.
Good for them. So yeah, I have only had one girlfriend. 4 years of college, did not date. Did not date in college. Can we get her on the air? Platt Cat asked. I don't know, man. I have not talked to her since I broke up with her.
Well, Platt Cat, let me tell you about a little segment called Wacky
Whoa!
Guest Wednesday.
Yes, we can't spoil it,
No,
Josh.
no spoil.
We're gonna talk about it on Wednesday.
I'm gonna press on.
Yes, press on, please.
We move on to Missouri, where boy, hard times for Missouri. They've lost all of their football teams.
They have.
People forget. And authorities in St. Louis are on the hunt for an unknown number of forgive my ignorance on this, I believe it is vervet monkeys.
Oh, okay. All right.
Spotted wandering loose in the northern part of the city. The St. Louis Department of Health said the first reports of monkeys on the loose came on Thursday, with sightings taking place near a park. Original reports suggested there were 4 animals, but we cannot confirm the actual number at this time, only that there is more than one. Man, imagine a city having its bleep so not together like St. Louis.
Shocker. You know what? That's not shocking at all if you know the history of that place. I will say this. That's how bad movies begin.
Oh, yeah. I don't know which 28 whatever's later.
The 28 days, 28 months, 28 weeks, 28
One
years.
of those movies starts with monkeys roaming St. Louis.
Is this a truck spill? This is a truck spill. This is one of your bits.
Oh, I don't have this down as a truck spill.
Were they on a truck?
I mean, I guess at one point they probably were. Right?
Okay. All right.
Did they break loose?
They might have. I was going to say, if a truck spill, that is something that we can debate in divorce court. I think both of you have equal rights to it.
Truck spill of the week would be folded in with the odd news. You get the odd news, you get the truck spills.
See, I think an argument can be made that they're separate from one another. And in that case, Connor Happer might have, we might have to go to the mediator of who introduced more truck spills than the non-truck spills. What came first? The truck spill or the reaction to the truck spill? That is what we'll find out tomorrow on Tuesday. I think that's probably one of my more fearful stories that I'll read because I'm not. Once again, I like, and this will be a journey for you and I, because you are awesome at pop culture, and you are a movie guy and you're a TV show guy. You already know this about me, but I watch sports. Like that's kind of like
your entertainment.
Like people go like, what weekly episodic show do you watch? I watch the weekly episodic show called at the NFL. And for me, I'm on season 18.
It's the wildest season yet.
Yeah, this is man, they've been riding up a good one, right? That's my show. But now working with you, I recognize that I'm going to have to up my pop culture game so we can talk about similar things and have opinions. We actually might do. I don't want to do a full movie segment, but we definitely can do Matt becomes a child of the 80s, where we go ahead and I experience things that you experienced, and then I tell you whether or not I vibe with it. That'd be fun. That might be something we do.
Well, I don't know if you know this. I the last 4 years worked with a man who very little pop culture knowledge and hadn't seen a movie. So the bar is on the floor.
But that's Happer's bit. I don't want to take Happer's bit. In divorce court, he wins that. I don't, I got to be different. This isn't the Connor Happer show. This is Middays with Matt. Do we have another news story?
All
right,
they come in threes.
Okay, I see. I'm learning.
We go to Louisiana, where a nude woman attacked a police officer who told her to leave a private pond. She responded by telling the officer, "I'm trying to be a mermaid."
Is this, you said this was from Florida?
Louisiana.
Oh.
I get why you would think Florida.
This is
we're going to go to Florida a lot.
I know. So one of my favorite radio segments of all time is, with the radio station I grew up listening to, they did Florida or Ohio. And so
good bit.
They would give you a wild and crazy crime, and you would have to guess, did that happen in Florida or did it happen in Ohio? You actually become pretty good at it. Obviously, anything that has to do with water, you think of Florida. Anything that has to do with strip clubs was kind of like an Ohio thing. So it's just you learn, right? You learn at what crimes were committed at what places. All right.
Louisiana law enforcement official allegedly attacked on Tuesday, January 6th by a naked woman who informed investigators she had aspirations of becoming a mermaid.
But mermaids aren't violent, are they?
Nor are they real.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's less to do. Look, I'm going to be honest.
I would
with you,
agree with
Josh.
you. Yes,
I'm going to be honest with you. She might be a mermaid. She's claiming. I don't know I don't know this woman. I haven't talked to this woman. Who am I to say that you are not what you claim to be? I mean, frankly, we've been doing a lot of that recently. So I'm just going to go ahead and be like, all right, probably not. But that's not the mermaid way. The mermaids that I know don't attack. They end up, wishing they weren't a mermaid and then kissing a prince and trying to, equate their entire value to the man that they married, which I don't agree with.
Police tased the naked woman to no effect, and she continued towards the officer.
Oh, that's how you know.
They were able to subdue her, believe it or not.
Okay.
And,
well, we don't know. Are mermaids, they may be immune to electricity. We don't know.
Great question. The Little Mermaid never covered this.
We never talked about what mermaids' weaknesses were. So I don't know.
How
I
do
gotta
you stop a mermaid?
I would love to get her on. I'd love to talk to her.
Wacky Guess Wednesday.
Wacky Guess Wednesday, I guess. This is now going to be the bit of just every random ass person that we bring up. Wacky Ass Wednesday. Until you bring up somebody who's dead, and then it'll be a really bad look for me. Probably some sort of.
I won't bring a dead person on these airwaves.
I don't know, man. You've got some pretty good gets before. Bomani Jones came on the show.
I have his phone number.
You do his phone number. I have the most famous people that I have in my phone are guests that I was unable to get. But I had their number. Shout out Albert Breer.
Do you have Nora's number? I kind of need that for something unrelated.
I think I do, but it might be blocked by her and not.
Well, I'm not blocked.
You're not blocked. That would be something. That would be something if that happened. That would be radio.
Hey Nora, you up?
Stop it right now. You listen to Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. We're going to talk about something that was that happened on a Saturday at 1:00 at the CHI Health Center and whether or not you should be panicked about it. Coming up next here on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Listen to Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. It has not been a midday here with myself, Matt McMaster, and Josh Odson. It's been a crazy one. A lot of changes have happened on the Zone over the last about 72 hours. Mike Schaefer, Connor Happer in the morning, Matt McMaster here on 1620 The Zone in the middays. Now, we want to thank everybody who has reached out to us on Twitter and reached out to us, and the YouTube chat has been awesome, and some congratulatory emails and everything like that. If you haven't already, I go and encourage you listen to the very first segment of this show, which was, in my eyes, the last segment of the Gary and Matt show, a show that unfortunately did not come to the end in the way that we wanted it to, obviously, but still incredibly thankful for its existence and its happening and the opportunity to work with Jimmy Chavez and, of course, Gary Sharp, and someone who means a ton to me and will always mean a ton to me, and will be different here walking to these studios and not having him around, but still definitely encourage you to go and listen to that very first segment of the show. And more importantly, though, you're going to find out what this show is all about. And when I first got here about a year ago to 1620 The Zone, admittingly, I was a young, dumb, and selfish kid who looked at this station as an opportunity to build myself up and not as an opportunity to connect with people and entertain people. And I'm so entirely grateful to work with those two men who taught me that. And now I feel like I could not do this show with Josh Odson 13 months ago.
I wouldn't let you.
I'm ready to do it now, and we're going to have a great time. 402-951-1620 The Zone is the number. At Matt at 1620thezone.com if you want to get at me, and at Matt McMedia on X or Twitter or wherever the hell you want to call it. We talked about one Nebraska-based basketball team already in the show. The Nebraska Corn Huskers are ranked 8th in the AP poll, top 10. They're 16-0, having so far the greatest start to a season in Nebraska basketball history. And frankly, after their incredible win against the Indiana Hoosiers on the road, there's no signs of it slowing down, as they'll go ahead and play Oregon tomorrow and Northwestern later in the week. Without a doubt, they will be heavy favorites in both of those matchups, with a legitimate opportunity to start the season 18-0, which no one saw coming. Another thing that no one saw coming, Creighton basketball not being in the NCAA tournament picture in January. That's kind of where we stand right now. Creighton basketball began the season ranked. I believe they were, Josh, what, 23rd or something like that? I don't remember off the top of my head, but they were ranked in the AP top 25 poll to begin the year. Right. And, quickly we're out of it after a very disappointing non-con slate. Look, I think, looking at Creighton, everyone knew that they were going to have a tough time no longer having Ryan Kalkbrenner on the team. And looking at how they constructed the roster, they really didn't go out and get anybody that you would say, hey, he's going to fill the Kalkbrenner role. He's going to be the physical defensive piece. He's going to go ahead and be the rebounding guy. He's going to, lock down the pick and roll defense. He's going to provide the things that Kalkbrenner did. And I think when you were looking at the construction of this team, you knew, all right, hey, perimeter defense is going to be tough. And rebounding is going to be a battle every single night. And that's been the case. I mean, this Creighton basketball team, granted, has gotten a lot better at it, but has not, has kind of lived up to the billing, which was, they weren't going to be a great rebounding team and a great defensive team. But I think the saving grace for this Creighton team from an outside perspective was, well, look, yeah, they're not going to be great from a defense perspective and a rebounding perspective, but their offense is going to be able to carry them all night. You see the shooting that they got, the ball handling that they got, the different weapons that they can use on the other side of that court. Like, they're going to be fine. And unfortunately, the story for Creighton has been, it really hasn't been the case. They're 140th in points per game in the country. They're 151st in 3-point percentage in the nation. All right. They are,
my take, not good.
Yeah. They're one of the worst teams at getting to the free throw line. They're like in the 340s in getting to the free throw line.
Whoa.
They are just not able to touch the paint and get shots at the charity stripe. And it's just one of those things where, unfortunately for Creighton, the bad has been bad. When you thought was going to be bad has been bad. And what you thought was going to be good hasn't lived up to the billing. Let's just be honest here. Owen Freeman is officially just the most expensive minutes eater in the country. Okay, they paid this guy a lot of money to come in and be in a way that presence in the middle that would be the closest thing that could replace Ryan Kalkbrenner, but in his own way. I mean, they are very, very different players, but still, you got a 6'10" power forward who at the University of Iowa was able to average 17 points per game and, did that with a shooting percentage of 64% in 26 minutes. Now, granted, I understand that he did not have an offseason. He tore his meniscus. It kept him out of action for a very long time. But we talked with assistant coaches at Creighton basketball of, okay, hey, when is Owen going to be ready to go? When is Owen going to be ready to go? When is he going to be able to be at full strength? And they said January 1. Well, it's January 1, and he has not performed at that level at all, okay? In January, he's played 6 minutes, 8 minutes, and 6 minutes. He's totaled 2 points in the month of January. Owen Freeman has
2 more than me.
Owen Freeman has the same amount of turnovers in those 3 games as he has points, and has had twice as many personal fouls in those games as he's had points. Okay. He is a guy that they invested a lot of resources to bring in and be a key piece of this basketball team. And he's just there to play when Jason Green or someone else needs to sit down. And that's wildly, wildly disappointing. And I think on top of it though, is that, I'm giving him a little flack here to start. And I think it's deserved. But now let me give you the positive. Coach Mack has figured out the guys that he's liked. Coach Mack has figured out the rotations that he's liked. He's figured out the players that he can trust. He's got guys in his team that now fully understand what they're expected to do on the offensive end, especially on the defensive end. Man, Josh Dix has been that. Talk about something that maybe you didn't expect. His defense has been great. And he is a guy that is well on his way to being the Big East defensive player of the year. I mean, he's been playing awesome defense. So Coach Mack lit a fire under these guys' butts after that Kansas State game and sent a message when he put in certain guys and put in a certain rotation that you didn't think would be closing out games for Creighton basketball. And the bench sent message to the mind of those players on the bench. Hey, I got to be better, and this is what coaches expected from me. And during that time, they've gone on a really good run overall, 4-2 in the first 6 games of the Big East with some good wins. Great win over Xavier on the road. Great win over Villanova on the road. That Butler game, tough game, went ahead. They beat them. But, you look at that St. John's game, and I think it's a bury the tape game. I think it's one of those games that you say, okay, hey, third game, 9 days. That's tough. This is a really good St. John's team that frankly matches. It's a terrible, terrible matchup for Creighton. I mean, St. John's is built to do everything well that Creighton does not do well. Okay. And they had a tough time of handling St. John's pressure that they put on the perimeter. Plaquette, third game in 6 days. You're totally right, Plaquette.
That's worse.
Third game in 6 days. And they tried pushing it in transition to not allow St. John's to set up in the half court. And you can tell how heavy the legs were and just how tired the Blue Jays were trying to push the pace. And so it's one of those things where, okay, you bury the tape and you say this was tough and you're coming off of a long road trip. You didn't get back to Philadelphia until 3:00 in the morning. But you had a prime opportunity to really, you were turning your season around and you were 4-1 in the Big East. And that St. John's game was a prime opportunity for you to say, hey, the knock-on don't matter, man. Q1 win at home. Let's get to the NCAA tournament. They would have been probably top 35 in the net ranking if they won that game. And they didn't. And they played bad. They played bad basketball on Saturday. There's no way of putting it. They were tired and the legs were heavy and it was a bad matchup. But man, still, they went out and they laid an egg. And that was a game where, unfortunately, in the Big East, because of the fact that the conference in of itself did not perform well in the non-con, there aren't as many quad one win opportunities as there are in other conferences, and you have to take advantage of that. And I think, there were a lot of things that weren't going in the way of Creighton heading into that one, but still, you just don't get too many of those opportunities, and they did not play well. And Ejiofor did not necessarily dominate on, in points and rebounds, but he had 6 assists. I mean, they paid a lot of attention, and they had a really good game plan. Pitino knew what he was doing. They knew that Creighton was going to focus in heavily on Zuby, and he put a lot of cutters. And, they had 2 guys off the bench who they don't get a ton of contributions from go ahead and make a lot of 3-pointers. And they kind of broke the scouting report that Creighton had for him. So it's one of those things where you could play both sides of the coin here. You could say, man, it was a tough matchup, and they were tired, and they were coming off of a really emotional and tough road trip, and that's probably contributing more to the reasons as they lost as opposed to their actual skill. At the same time, you can say, well, this is kind of the bed you made, right? The bed you made was going 1-5 against Power 5 teams in the non-con. And when you do that, you don't allow yourself to have a lot of margin for error in conference play. And this was a prime opportunity, and they lost it. They'll get some more still early in the year. They still got a lot of time left to build up an NCAA tournament resume, but you kind of let that one slip on a just bad performance on a Saturday afternoon against the St. John's Red Storm, who needed that victory just as much as Creighton needed.
They feel destined to kind of do this 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yep.
All season long.
$1,000,000%. And it's just going to be, can they pull out a couple more big wins than squander opportunities, and at this point sneak into the NCAA tournament? They'll have a couple more. They'll have a couple Q1 win opportunities, but regardless of how you look at it and the factors that played into it, it was a tough game to lose. And yes, Creighton basketball has lost games to very good teams, many of which are ranked in the top 10 in the country, but they've lost them by large margins, and you don't get a ton of credit for that when you're losing by that. So, alrighty, that was our Creighton basketball talk. First time here on Middays with Matt. We will do plenty because I'm also the voice of Blue Jay Overtime, so I watch all the Creighton basketball.
Whoa! You're stepping out on this show already?
No, I've already done this show.
Ultimatum.
No.
It's Blue Jay Overtime or me.
Nora, stop it. It's you. It's always you, Josh Hodson. And it's going to be us coming to next here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Soul.
Just kind of scrolling through here on Twitter, trying to find if
You should be working, not scrolling on Twitter.
no, I'm scrolling on Twitter to find if anything important has happened because I'm not used to number one being in the driver's seat.
There's a new lineup on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, hey, what about that?
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I have heard about this. I've
Okay.
actually was directly affected by it.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Trying to see if there's any new news here, anything like that. There's been a lot of Packers Bears talk, and everything like
Oh,
that.
I
'cause they're
did see
doing-
something before we went to break, actually.
Oh.
Dropping the sarcasm. It's very vague, but it is something. Pete Nakos calls his shot on several elite transfer portal prospects.
Oh, go ahead. Let's do that.
Pete Nakos calls his shot for Nebraska and Matt Rule to land a top defensive transfer portal prospect.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to On3, so I can't tell you which one.
Okay. I will go ahead and I will find that. Also, too.
Robin Washit recently retweeted it.
Okay. So I can go on Twitter because
We could ask him
No,
about it.
I am subscribed
Brag.
to.
This guy makes On3 money, everybody.
Well, I'm probably one of the very few people who at the station who pays for On3.
You guys are getting this for free?
He was getting. I think a couple people on the station get it for free. I've never really had the cojones. To
No
go
one's
ahead
ever
and
approached
ask.
me and
No.
said, "Hey, Josh, would you're the program director at a radio station. Would you like On3?"
Let's see here. Alrighty. Jashir Whittington. This is a guy that I've actually seen plenty of on Twitter and whatnot. He's a D-lineman from Pitt. He's a former 4-star recruit. Nebraska has emerged as the team to land Pitt defensive tackle Whittington. Pete Nakos reports. The 6-foot, 270-pound defensive lineman posted 12 tackles, a sack, and a fumble recovery in 2025.
6 foot 270, tiny baby boy.
Tiny baby boy. The Cornhuskers were able to get Whittington on campus this weekend, and Matt Rule's program sits in a good spot. He's calling his shot to Nebraska. His confidence level, though, is medium. So we have seen in this transfer portal cycle, I don't know if you remember, but there was a player that a lot of people believed was going to commit to Nebraska and come to Nebraska, and actually himself admitted that he was committed to Nebraska and then decided not to go to Nebraska, instead to go to Kentucky, which, by the way, Dante Dowdell, old friend alert, transfers from Kentucky to Georgia. So Dante Dowdell, 4 teams in 4 seasons, Oregon to Nebraska to Kentucky, now to Georgia.
I mean, but he ends at Georgia.
And not bad, man. Well, I'll say this.
That's better than starting at Georgia and ending God knows where.
I'll tell you this right now, man. Pretty good job in just sports in general nowadays, because seems like the short yardage running back. If you can be a bulldozer and a bruiser in the NFL level and at the college level, people are willing to pay you to just carry the ball about 9 times a game for 27 yards, but allow you to pick up a first down or get into the end zone, which Dante Dowdell is pretty damn good at doing. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this, right? Jashir Whittington, the former 4-star recruit at Pitt. So you mentioned it, right? 6 foot, 270. Okay. Andy Berberia.
Nailed it.
The JUCO All-American from Iowa Western. Go Reavers, baby.
Champion.
Could
that interest any of you?
All-American. He is 6'2", 296 pounds.
Oh, that's bigger than that other gentleman.
That is bigger than the other
Interesting.
Power 4 gentleman. I do think that, look, and I'm kind of this way too, guys, because I've said this jokingly on other programming that existed a couple of days ago, that I want fat men. I want big guys. I want 6'6". I want 330 pounds. I want dudes who are going to clog up the trenches. And kind of one of those things where, yeah, everybody wants that, because you look at the teams that are across the country being successful, they have that. They possess that. They have those really big hosses. And then that's kind of, big red overreaction callers go ahead and be like, why do we look small? Why is Nebraska small? Why is Nebraska getting pushed around? And, to go ahead and recruit guys who are under 300 pounds doesn't necessarily communicate, hey, we're going to push guys around and we're going to be, bullies in the trenches. But I'll say this, when you look at the 4-2-5, the 4-2-5 is a defense that's just rooted in speed. And it's really, it's a defense that calls for, smaller, more athletic guys who can cause havoc all around the ball and getting to the quarterback, and cornerbacks and defensive backs who can cover so much grass, right? And I think that, when you look at the 4-2-5, you need a guy, who maybe isn't the biggest dude, but is athletic, can use his speed, and can use his technique at the one technique, right? You need a one tech guy. You need a guy who's lined up on, the inside right shoulder of the center, and the inside left shoulder of the guard. You need a 4 tech. You need a guy who's going to line up side the left tackle. You need a guy, who's a 3 tech on the outside shoulder of a guard. Like you kind of need those guys. And so, when you're doing with this 4-line technique and you're in the 4-2-5, you can afford to give up a little bit of height and a little bit of strength and a little bit of weight to get more explosive guys. And so who can cause havoc on the field. Now, 6 foot 270. It's kind of small, that's not great. That's not awesome. At the same time, though, if you produce, right?
What a great take from Matt McMaster.
Like if you're good, you're just good. If you can go ahead and you can play, I don't really give a rat's ass like if you're tall or if you're large or if you weigh a lot. This Whittington guy, is going to have a couple of years of eligibility. I think he took a red shirt in 2024. He was still a freshman this year. He played in 11 games. He had 4 tackles for loss. He had a sack. Like, played in the ACC. This is a dude that can go ahead and perform and play at the Power 5 level. And you're going to have a coaching staff that's going to get multiple years to go and develop him. Andy Berberia, another guy, he'll be a one technique guy. And that's what he did at Iowa Western. I watched some of his tape, really quick off the ball. Good tackler. When I was impressed by him, he's smart, Josh. He is a smart football player. I think in the run game, he did a really good job of disengaging for blocks and going ahead and trying to clean some stuff up. But he's got some really good moves off the line real quick. I love the idea of bringing in guys who, who are all Americans at different levels and who people who are successful are just successful. Like we kind of saw it with Kurt Signetti in a way, right? You go ahead and all that dude was win at Elon, and all he did was win at James Madison. And people were like, well, okay, can you do it on the bigger stage? Yeah. Like they're man, I will take, and this is what he does. Like, this is back to the Signetti convo. Kurt Signetti isn't necessarily taking all of these former 5-star high school recruits that didn't pan out at a different place. No, he brought in Rourke because Rourke was good at Ohio. He brought in Fernando Mendoza because Fernando Mendoza was good at Cal. He brought in Coogan because he played a lot of football at Notre Dame, and they were a really good offensive line. He's going to bring in Nick Marsh from Michigan State because Nick Marsh has played Big Ten football and has shown an incredible amount of production and potential. And so, I get excited about hey, this is, this guy's a great athlete. He's got all the measurables, and there's a lot of potential for him to have. But I'm typically going to get more excited for the dudes who know how to win and who know how to be successful and knows what works for them and who have the experience of playing in, high stakes football games. Andy Berberia is that type of guy where, he is a national champion. He is an All-American. And
work ethic transfers regardless of level.
Yes.
Motor transfers regardless of level. Technique transfers regardless of level.
And on top of that, too, he was well coached by Aaron Terry, who is a very, very highly regarded coach over at Iowa Western. There's been some rumblings.
Got an interview?
Yeah, there's been some rumblings of maybe he'll, we'll see what happens with him in the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I think that, everybody who talks about him very much raves about him. I'm sure, you have great insight on that, Josh.
I do. I heard Matt Rule said, I would love to hire you. You seem like the guy for the job, but people in this fan base are a little sad about giving someone's uncle who's on the team the job. So I just can't right now. I want to, I just can't.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, Travis over here goes, also, how about them snatching a highly ranked long snapper from the portal?
Whoa.
Hey,
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, they got a guy. I don't know his name, from Michigan State. I'll go ahead and be blunt with you. I don't know too much other than what Travis said. He was a highly regarded long snapper in the portal. The more guys that you can get that aren't going to make basic mistakes on special teams, the better off you're going to be. Also, another note: Danny Kalen transfers from Virginia to Nebraska. The former Bellevue West quarterback originally was committed and was on the team for Nebraska for a whole year, being the backup to Dylan Raiola in Raiola's first year as the quarterback in Lincoln, Nebraska. He then goes ahead and transfers to Virginia to find himself some more opportunities. He did get some opportunities, played in some Power 5 football games, didn't necessarily have the greatest amount of success over at Virginia in, kind of his reserve role that he had to fill in, but still he had like a 54-yard touchdown run, showed some really good capabilities, actually has some Power 4 football experience now. So he goes ahead and is now a Nebraska Cornhusker once again. I think it's a great addition for this team. You're building depth at the quarterback position. You need that. And you're building depth with somebody who's familiar with her program, a in-state guy that we love our in-state football players here at Nebraska, a guy that people can rally around.
One of us.
And Danny Kaelin, man, like he's a very talented, very, very talented quarterback. And so the fact that you can go in and, you hope that Calandria works out. You hope that Latif works out.
Tiffy.
But if both those guys, for whatever reason, kind of lay an egg, or Danny Kaelin, a very talented football player, goes ahead and develops into your starting quarterback, I don't think anybody would be blinking an eye. So you're giving yourself more options. That's the one thing about the quarterback position in college. It's just so important. I don't think it's no wonder why your two top quarterback prospects in the NFL ended up being, representing in the college football playoff, right? And the next guy was Ty Simpson, and he was playing for Alabama. So you got to give yourselves options at the quarterback position. I think it's a really good depth piece, and we'll see what happens for him. Funny enough, in an ideal world, right? Danny Kaelin doesn't really play, in an ideal world,
God willing,
in an ideal world, one of two things happens. Danny Kaelin just develops into the superstar stud, and we're not talking about Anthony Calandria anymore. Or, the other two guys that you've invested your, resources in end up being the guys that you think that they can be. But at the same time, I think it was a very savvy move by Nebraska to say, we need to build quarterback depth. We're going to go and get a guy that we're familiar with. He likes the state, likes the program. Danny Kaelin's back. Great job by everybody involved. Very happy that happened.
And very quickly, I think I don't know who approached who. I don't know how that works, but it does take a bit of creative thinking for someone to raise their hand and go, hey, Danny Kaelin's out there. We liked him. We could get him again.
Sure.
Like someone's got to go hat in hand and be like, hey, Danny,
what
you want to get back together?
What I like though about this move is that they are very well aware of the fact that even when they are recruiting guys to come in as high school players, and even when guys leave for other programs, they know, hey, this is a crazy world. Things can work out in wild ways. We're going to stay connected with people. We're not going to burn bridges. We're not going to cuss you out or curse you or anything like that for not coming to us. No, we're going to say, hey, good luck in your future endeavors. Hope it works out for you. But if it doesn't, we're still interested. And they did that with Kaelin in terms of the fact of they didn't burn that bridge. They obviously kept the door open. That's why he's back at the University of Nebraska. And he is, look, I did not really want them to go out and get another Jalen Gramstad type. I wanted them to go out and get another kind of plucky underclassman who's got a lot of talent that has the potential to develop into something. Obviously, Danny Kaelin is going to be, is going to be slotted in more than likely to maybe be the third quarterback on this roster, but nothing's impossible. He can develop into a guy who ends up being the backup, or what if, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but crazier thing, Trinidad Chambliss went from being a D2 quarterback to one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Okay.
Great point.
Danny Kaelin could go from, hey, we're going to bring you in as kind of the third quarterback here, and ends up developing into a player where you're like, actually, he won the job. And that's the guy who's going to get it because that's how talented he was. And like Anthony Calandria, it did not go the best at Virginia, but he's still a very talented quarterback. So we will see what happens. Good addition by the Cornhuskers. We go to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline, 42951-1620. If you want to get on the action, Rick is on the line and been holding for a minute. Rick, how you doing, my man?
Oh, thanks Thanks for taking my call. As usual, I've got nonsense for you. When I heard about the guy that was at 4 different schools in 4 years, it kind of gives a whole new term to the phrase continuing education. And when you mentioned Signetti, I think you talked about him a little bit.
Sure.
He's kind of got, I say this respectfully, he's got kind of got the look of a cyborg. I mean, he's out there all business. I seen him in the playoff. The team got a 30-yard touchdown pass in his favor. Not a touchdown pass. It was just 30 yards downfield.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't clap or nothing. He was just looking at the next play. So I really like that. And getting back to Matt Rule, it'd be nice if he'd leave that hat off because he kind of looks like Gomer Pyle, doesn't he? Just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. That's funny.
You don't know who Gomer Pyle
I don't know who Gomer Pyle is. I don't. I was trying to be cool.
He looks better without the hat. Wouldn't we agree he looks better without the hat?
Yes. I agree. I think it's a weird gimmick that he just needs to stop. It's one of those things where he was trying to get you to buy in on the idea of things can change with a bunch of bull practices, and frankly, it didn't. And I think he was trying to distract from the shortcomings of other things and trying to encourage you that, hey, things are different now. I'm coaching. I'm back to being coach man. I'm a ball coach. Everything like that. And what happened, Rick? They still got their asses kicked.
Well, the smart people bet the over, I think.
The smart people did bet the over. The even smarter people took Utah and laid the 14. That's what happened.
Great show as usual, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you calling in. Appreciate everybody who's called in so far. We have somebody they're not calling in.
Yeah,
we're calling them.
We're making a phone call.
We're making a phone call to our guy, the one, the only, one of the best in the business. I'm going to say this right now, and I've told this to him too. My favorite writer in Nebraska.
Whoa.
My favorite writer in Nebraska.
Well, he won the big award.
He did win the big award. Yeah. My favorite writer in Nebraska, Robin Washut, the first guest of Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
A well above normal temperature day here for your Monday afternoon, expecting highs in the 50s. We'll see a decent amount of sunshine, and overnight we even stay fairly mild into the upper 30s overnight. Starting on Tuesday, we see
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Robin Washington is supposed to do this at some point. Middays with Matt. Kind of
Did he get the memo?
Yeah,
Does
he
he
said,
know?
I go 120, and I go, that, he goes, that should be fine. I go, okay. I'm going to text him real quick.
Well, we were a little late.
We were a little. You want to give him a call one more time?
Yeah.
Be great. Let's do a little car wash real quick, talk about other things that are they're kind of going on. Brooks Koepka is going to return to the PGA Tour. That's kind of a big deal. He was one of the first guys to go to live rather, and kind of start that alternate golf movement. So he's now back to the tour. Very interesting to see what that means for the rest of the LIV Tour. Packers are going to try and keep head coach Matt LaFleur. That's interesting headline there. Will try to keep head coach Matt LaFleur. We got to read more to that. But at the same time, I think that look, LaFleur definitely has his flaws. I think he definitely had some flaws. When it came to the early season play calling, and at times just didn't seem like he trusted Jordan Love. And I think his late game situation handling against the Bears in multiple instances definitely missed the mark. Without a doubt, they got to go ahead and hire a new special teams coordinator. I'm sorry, Rich Bisaccia. I think the
that guy's deal.
Yeah, I think the honeymoon of him leading the Vegas Raiders to a very improbable couple of wins when he was the interim head coach, I think that's done. I think that's over.
That guy's Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
He's got a couple of years as the special teams coordinator over at Green Bay, and as somebody who benefited from it greatly, we want to thank you for your services. Gonna get axed for sure. LSU is likely to add quarterback Sam Levitt out of the portal. It seems like Levitt's been kind of rumored to go everywhere. He was actually kind of attached to Nebraska at first, and then went all the way out to Kentucky. It seemed like he was a lock to go there. Then he went to LSU. Then the whole Damon Williams thing came out. Then it was like, all right, I guess he's going to go to Tennessee. Now, after Damon Williams decided, I don't want to go through all that litigation, and this is going to be a massive pain in the neck, and stays at Washington, Levitt will end up at LSU from the portal. Let's see here. Anything else? No, not really. The Atlanta Falcons are going to have brand new uniforms, which
good.
I hope that they go old school here in their uniforms.
You got to make the red helmet the primary.
Well, here's my one thing is that it's one of those instances where we have gone way too deep into the minimalism, and we have just made everything so bland, and we've lost a little bit of creativity. I hope they reestablish that. And now we're going to go to the phone lines for a pretty impromptu call. It's all my fault. This show, because I should have given him more of a heads up, but it's one of my favorite people, one of the first people I ever met in media, one of the first people who kind of showed me the way as a young little 19-year-old whippersnapper at KLIN. And not to kiss your ass, but you are my favorite writer in Nebraska media. It's Robin Washut, the first ever guest here on Middays with Matt.
Wow, I don't know if I could get a better introduction than that, Matt. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Robin. I got to ask you, man, how are you? This is awesome. This is great. I am so happy for you. Tell me about the season. Tell me your experiences. You're eating grapes on Husker Basketball Mountain.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I guess certainly me, and I'm sure most others, would have never in their wildest dreams expected to be covering a 16-0, 8th-ranked team in the country that is currently sole possession of first place in the Big Ten Conference and having the most remarkable season in program history. So it's been kind of one of those deals where every day is kind of a new adventure where I'm going on the road.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah.
This year. And like this is already the most basketball travel regular season, at least, that I've ever done. And I think that's kind of says it all as far as my role is concerned, is that when I always said that if a team gave me a reason to travel that way, I would do it. And here we are. And I have to say, that tip to my wife for basically being a single mom all month with all of these road adventures here in January. But she knew what she was marrying, and she understands. She's fired up just like everybody else. And, it's kind of one of those deals where regardless of when the first loss happens or if it ever happens.
Sure.
I think everybody's just kind of appreciating what this season has been on a day-to-day. Because like I said, it seems like just when you think that, all right, well, this is fun while it lasted, Nebraska finds a new way to take it to another level.
Robin, I got to ask you, you say, and you're totally right, not a lot of people anticipated this happening. I don't think anybody anticipated this happening. What's been the biggest surprise for you? When you look at this team, you're like, ooh, I did not think that could happen.
It's the resilience.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that, the Indiana game is kind of the most prime example yet. But a lot of times, Nebraska's been good at home. And then when things don't go well on the road, it kind of snowballs on them. Or, they get in these late game situations and, one or two shots don't go their way and it just kind of, falls apart and, they aren't ever able to recover. But that has not been the case whatsoever with this group, regardless of who they're playing, where they're playing, or whatever the circumstances they're facing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't flinch.
Yeah.
And they continue to swing. And, that Indiana game was the second time this season they've been down by 16 points. And they overcame both of those deficits. It was the third time they faced a double-figure deficit, and they overcame it. So I think just the mental toughness of this group, because I felt like they were going to be pretty talented, especially if Rink was playing up to his potential and Price was the guy that they hoped he would be, and Jamarcus was going to take that next step, all those things. But what I didn't know, I don't think anybody knew, and I even Fred Hoiberg, was just how this group was going to handle things together when it got tough. And every single game they faced a different type of adversity, whether it's, down 16 against Oklahoma or, playing a short week with, Wisconsin and Creighton back to back, just the emotions that go with that stretch and going on the road for the first time or whatever it is. Like they've handled it all about as well as you could possibly have hoped for. And that's, to me, the biggest reason why they are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's really good teams that don't have that mental fortitude that Nebraska has shown, and there's a reason they have losses on their schedule. And Nebraska, they've shown that regardless of whatever they're going to face, they're going to be ready for the moment.
It's one of those things too where this team shows instances where they're Rocky Balboa and they just take every single punch and they can't get knocked out. And then there are instances where they're Apollo Creed and they're dealing the punishment and they're looking sharp. And I think that's very well put by you. Let's talk about another guy though. Man, Braden Frager. I mean, it's not just Robin that this guy has come out of nowhere and been a big time clutch shot maker for this team, but you watch him play and it's not just like, oh, he's making shots. Like he's a talent. I mean, he's got it. He's got the tools. Is this something that Nebraska even thought that they had when they got him about a year ago and redshirted him?
I would say that they probably thought that this was possible probably about midway through last season. They took him as kind of a developmental guy, local kid. They saw some talent in him, and they'd been evaluating him for a while. But, he's kind of one of those guys that they needed to redshirt, or at least expected to redshirt him. And with him reclassifying up a year, like that was kind of a no-brainer move to start. But with the way that he developed last season and the work that he put in, a lot of times on his own, to get himself better every single day, that caught the coach's attention pretty quickly to where, Fred always talks about how they almost pulled his red shirt last year. They kind of stayed patient with it and held on to it. And I think that was probably to his own benefit because the gains that he's made physically, just getting bigger and stronger, faster, all that stuff, but then also just developing his skill. The big questions with him were mostly on the defensive side of the ball. He wasn't he was a good defender, but not a great defender. And I think a lot of that was just being willing to lock in on every possession.
Mm-hmm.
So he made immense strides on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah.
And with his offense, his shooting, his shooting was always good, but I think working with Fred for a year has really elevated that to the next level. And then, a lot of it, he's left-handed. Going right was kind of the book was out on him that if you force him to go right, a lot of times he struggles. So he's kind of just done some fundamental development as well to be able to be more versatile. And all of that, I think, needed a year just
Mhm.
to not just the time of it and the work with the coaches, but just the drive that Braden had to really own in on those things. And now he was able to hit the ground running at a much higher level than he would have been had they played him a year ago. And so, it's crazy to think that, this is still his first season of college basketball.
Yeah.
He's 19 years old and should be considered a true freshman right
Mhm.
now. But doing what he did and following the path that he chose, I think set him up for significant success. So Nebraska saw this coming. Fred was the conductor of the Braden Frager hype train all off season long. He loved what he saw from him over the course of his redshirt year, over the course of the off season. And so I don't think he was surprised by what Braden is, but certainly from the outside perspective, to see a kid that, we'll see what happens here in maybe an hour or so when the weekly awards, Big Ten awards, are issued.
Sure.
He's already a multiple-time Freshman of the Year winner. He's a probably front runner to make the Big Ten All-Freshman team, and that's a pretty darn good start for a kid that I think has about as high of a ceiling as anybody on that roster.
All right. Well, Robin Washut here of Husker Online and On3, been covering the Huskers for a very, very long time. Top 10 in the country. They were ranked 8th in this latest AP poll. Just real quick here, because I haven't talked to you for a while, but we got to get to a break. But I got to hear it from you. What's this team ceiling? What's this team ceiling, man? Like people are hesitant to call them a great team. You may disagree with me. I think they're a great team. I really do. What do you think this team ceiling is?
I mean, personally, I think that they're depending. It always depends on the draw and depends on what happens over the next couple months of the season. Because unfortunately, they're in a situation where they're walking a fine line with their roster. They've knock on all the wood possible, been able to stay healthy, but that has to continue because there's some guys that are extremely difficult to replace if they're forced to miss any sort of time. So there's always all these variables about what this team can do. But as it stands right now, with their complete group intact, they're absolutely primed to win the first NCAA tournament game, multiple games, in my opinion. I think Sweet 16 is very much on the table. And again, depending on the draw and how much momentum they're playing with, who knows? I mean, they've proven everybody wrong for 16 straight games now. They have done things that no Nebraska basketball team has ever done, and that just continues by the day to add to that list. And so I don't want to put a ceiling on them because this team has proven time and again that whatever your expectations are of them, odds are they're going to supersede it. So that I think kind of is the mentality that is fair to have. But the good thing is that internally they are about as mature as you could possibly get. They're saying all the right things. They're approaching every day the right way. And they're just worried about Oregon right now. All that stuff's fun for you and me and the fans to talk about. But you ask Rink Mask about being 8th in the nation, 16-0, he's like, yep, we're just worried about Oregon. So that is what I think is going to take them to where they expect to go and hope to go more than anything else.
Robin Washut, the first ever guest here on Middays with Matt. We hope we'll lock in something with you and get you here on the show weekly, whatever works with their schedule. Always appreciate you, my man. Congratulations on traveling and all the fun you're having this season. Can't wait to hear from you as the season continues on.
For sure, Matt. Congrats on the show.
Thank you.
Keep moving on up.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Robin. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
See you later.
Bye-bye. Robin Washut, Husker Online on 3. Coming up next, we have what to watch and a new little ending segment on Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone. We are keeping some things from the Common Happer Show. One of those things is what to watch for. Josh Hodson, you have the floor, my friend.
Probably shouldn't have deleted that graphic. Have to make a new one. Okay. Well, tonight, Matt, we are, of course, watching the end of the NFL wild card round.
Yes, we are.
The Houston Texans take on the Pittsburgh Steelers at 7:15 on ABC or ESPN. There is a Manning cast available tonight on ESPN2. Your guests include Ben Roethlisberger and J.J. Watt.
Okay. All right.
Don't know why you'd ask J.J. Watt about playoff teams since his most illustrious accomplishment is a Champs Sports Bowl trophy.
That is true.
And
true.
NBA tonight on Peacock. Celtics Pacers at 6:30.
Terrible game.
NHL on NHL Network. The Seattle Kraken are at the Garden to take on the Rangers at 6 o'clock.
All right.
On Peacock, you also have the season 2 finale of Here Come the Irish. The Irish enter their final games with playoff hopes on the line. A trip to their quarterback's hometown offers a rare insight into the family and hardships that shaped him. Gee, I wonder what happens.
That will be interesting. Actually, that might be something that could go viral. Some clips from that, and we might end up talking about it. So that's actually a good what to watch there.
And finally tonight on Netflix, One Last Adventure: The Making of Stranger Things 5. The behind-the-scenes chronicle follows the cast, creators, and crew as they bring the final season to life and say goodbye to the show that changed them forever.
What a bunch of whiny group of fans from Stranger Things. Not all fans from Stranger Things, but the ones who were like, oh, there's going to be a secret 9th episode because we don't like the ending of it. Come on, get out of here. All right. Endings are endings. I think that any fan that really gets that upset about season finales to the point where you want them to completely remake the show or remake the season, that is wild. Okay.
Classic internet hating the way the thing they love ends.
Yeah. And also, too, because they didn't write it the way you want it to end. No, it's called TV. It doesn't happen the way. If you want something to end the way that you want it to end, write your own show. How about that?
Do something with your
life. The only fans, though, that I do kind of agree with is Game of Thrones, because that did not end.
That was bad.
That was bad. That was really bad. I kind of agree with them. All right. New segment. Dog of the day. Everybody knows that I like to talk about gambling, but don't worry. There were people who were really freaking out about this was going to be an all gambling in Chicago show. It's not. We're in Omaha. We're in Nebraska.
I made you talk about Chicago more than you wanted to talk about. We didn't talk about the Bears-Packers.
We didn't on purpose.
That feels like a purpose
on purpose because look, I love my city, and but at the same time, I live here in Omaha. That's what's important. That's what we're going to talk about. So don't worry about it. Okay, we are a Nebraska show, but dog of the day.
Okay,
our dog of the day. We're doing it every day. I'm going to give you a dog. Okay, I'm not going to, have the entire show be about my picks and when I'm gambling. Don't worry about that either. But I do enjoy doing it, and I do enjoy gambling responsibly. So, dog of the day. Every single day, I'm going to give you a dog. The point is, all right, that they're probably not going to happen, but you can profit off of it. We'll keep a record. We'll keep the units. I'll kind of bet them as we go along, so don't worry about it. Tonight, the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Houston Texans. Both offenses are not very good, and the Houston Texans defense is great. Their secondary has been great. The rushing defense has been great. I really don't trust that there are going to be a lot of points. The over-under from an even perspective is 37.5. We're going to go ahead and we're actually going to do an alternate under, okay? Under 35.5 points tonight in the Pittsburgh-Houston Texans game. That'll get you plus 122. Plus 122 on DraftKings if that is the app that you use. So that's our dog of the day. We will write that down. Under 35.5 points tonight in the Pittsburgh Steelers-Houston Texans game. That was the very first episode of Middays with Matt. Wow. We want to thank everybody for being in the comments, for being in the YouTube chat, for being on Twitter, for reaching out to us. Congratulations. And maybe some people saying, man, I don't really like the show. I'm not going to give it a chance. And we appreciate the people who say, you know what? I am going to give this show a chance. Because like I said in the first segment, that's all we ask. We do this for you. We want to entertain you. Josh and I, we got a lot of growing to do. We got a lot of chemistry to build, even though we have plenty of it already. And we're going to try and give you the best possible product we can here on the middays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every single day here on 1620 The Zone. I cannot wait for the journey that we're all going to take together. Thank you so much for listening to us. We will be back same time tomorrow. Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
See you at home, son.